So yeah, thanks for joining us for the online review and hang. It's the first one of this new kind we're doing. We used to call this the Strat Chat, but basically at the end of every month, we're going to take the Tournament of Champions final table from the previous month, invite everyone who participated in it to, whether you're a premium member or not, to come and join our premium members in our panel here. And we'll go through the play of the final table and just kind of hang out and compare notes and probably give each other the gears a little bit too, because that's part of the fun we have, and learn a little together. So often what we've done is we have we've just replayed the actual video because we screen capture the play of the final table of the Tournament of Champions every month, and we send that out to our membership to review in advance for these or to practice. This month we're actually I'm trying to get Poker Tracker 4 more involved in some of our learning activities. So this month, Keith Brandt, and there won't be any spoilers, but Keith sent me his Poker Tracker hand history from the tournament. And so we're actually going to go through, instead of watching the video where you don't really get to see anyone's cards and you can't control the pace of the play as much, we're going to go through Keith's Poker Tracker 4 hand history of the final table instead. And that way we can see his cards all the time. It's very generous. And we can control it. We can look at it through the RecPoker HUD, and we can look at some stats and that kind of stuff. So I think it'll be a more interesting conversation, a more stimulating conversation. And I'm hoping as we do more of these and more players start downloading their hand histories, that maybe more than one of the final table players will send me their hand histories, and then we can end up reviewing some of these hand histories where we have multiple players with some whole cards revealed. So that'll be a lot of fun too. And just before we get started into it, I will also say, if you're new to this ORaH, the online review and hang, if you're a member at rec.poker, and you must be if you're playing in the home games, then just go over on the left there, there's a red bar. And if you click on groups, there's a premium group just for the online review and hang. And if you join that group, then it'll always have the link to this event. I'll post some extra videos there, and we can use the forum and that kind of stuff as well. So feel free to go join there, and you can upload file histories and stuff like that as well. So
Sorry, I just missed what you said at the beginning because I was late. I was sending you my hand history after midnight.
I saw that. Yeah, that's okay. That's going to be great. We're actually going to do that one. We're going to do that one next week. That's the one. Well, again, okay, no spoilers, but Kim has sent me her hand history from that one, and she also goes very deep. So we'll get a chance to review that, which I'm really looking forward to. And that's going to be free for anyone. If you're not a premium member tonight and you'd like to come again and join next week, we're going to do exactly the same thing. The link will be different, but just feel free to join us for that one as well. So yeah, Kim, I was just telling people how they got to go join the group over on the left there, if they want to be in the ORaH.
I think I already joined it.
Perfect. I'm not surprised. You're such a keener, Kim. I love it. All right, so now let's pull up Poker Tracker here. Oh, and actually, I guess I should share my screen.
What date was this one on? Can you
This
tell me
one
that?
was the March 8th tournament.
Okay.
And that was for all the February winners.
Okay.
And let me share my screen here. Okay, so can everyone see the Poker Tracker page there, the Poker Tracker screen? Going to take that as a yes. Okay, thank you, Jacob. So usually when you log into Poker Tracker, you're here in Play Poker. So we're going to go over to View Stats, Tournament, Results, Overview, and I've got Monkey System set as the player here because Keith sent me his hands. So this is going to show down here. It's going to populate all the tournaments that I've filtered for where we have Monkey System. So we're just going to open this tournament up. And actually, let me see if I can, well, just while we're here, you just right click on that replay all hands and report. So the only other thing that you have to do that's important is make sure you switch this from, it defaults to 100 hands, switch it to all hands. And then you'll be able to do that and get all the hands in there. Okay, I'm just gonna stop share for a sec and see if I can change the view when I do. Okay, we'll just go with this. Where are you?
You already know which hands was the start of the final table, Joe?
Yeah, so I went, great point. So as you can see, there's 260 hands here, and you guys can see the poker tracker screen again, right? Yep, okay, thank you. And if you export all the hands, and I'm just gonna put, I already went through, here's the exported version, the replayer. You have to then play with the front and back of the, I like to just fast forward to the end of it and then just manually back up until the final table, all the seats appear. Again, on the final table, that's the easiest way. It takes a few clicks, but it's the easiest way to tell, because the poker tracker doesn't actually track the table number for this kind of stuff. So that's the easiest way. Just skip to the end and then just backtrack until all the seats are filled.
So I'm trying to bring up the same tournament, and when I have 2 tournaments on one date, how do I get to one of them?
Yeah, good question. So do you have these grouped in your poker tracker setup?
Yeah.
It's view stats, tournament results, overview.
Results. Okay. No, I didn't have results, but that's okay. Never mind. I got it.
All right, good stuff. Oh man, Kim, there's like a million little, you're gonna find a bunch of little rabbit holes. Poker tracker is really, like, you can do a lot with it, but because of that, there's like a lot of little just things you gotta bump into. You gotta go down some dead ends, and it just takes some time. But
all right,
I'm excited for you, and you can pull me in anytime. I love talking about poker tracker, as you can tell. So don't worry about spending my time on that. So here we are. So this is the we've just got the RecPoker HUD up here right now, which is a pretty simple 3-line. It's a 3-color HUD because PokerStars only lets you use 3 colors. So I like to use the Christmas theme, where it's just red, white, and green. Green is for wide passive actions, high frequencies. Red is for tight, low frequencies, and white is for in the middle. So it's just an easy way to kind of see at a glance. And I don't think we need to go through all the stats on the HUD, but if anyone's interested, they can just ask any questions anytime, and just chip in if anyone has any questions anytime. These ones here are common table stats. So I do say the one thing that's the most important stat is the number of big blinds. So on the bottom right of all these, you'll see the number of big blinds. And so I've got the chips listed here on people's chip stacks, and that's just so that you can see them both at the same time. So Monkey System here has 84 big blinds, which is about 33,000 chips. So this number here, this is your big blinds, the hero. This number here is the average big blinds for the table. And these numbers here are the average VPIP, PFR, and 3-bet for the table. So it's a pretty tagged table, 18, 11, 5. That's still pretty passive, but no one's really getting too out of line, except for you, Monkey System. You're getting out of line, but I love it. That's the right kind of getting out of line to be. So what we're showing here is the number of hands so far. So we're 100 hands into the tournament. And why don't we just start advancing through? I'll just slide this down a bit. And anyone, if you're trying to use the poker tracker replayer, which I really encourage you to do, navigation, this is just how we're going to move through the hands. And we'll just go hand by hand, because we're not actually doing this for Keith. We're not going to skip all the hands that other people play. We're just going to go through every hand and see how it comes up. So, and yeah, anyone who's interested in chatting, just unmute, jump in. It's very casual.
What's the tournament number? I'm still having trouble bringing it
Oh
up.
yeah, this one it ends in 2242. I
Okay,
remember that.
perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
And I think, Kim, I didn't get your history for this tournament, so we're not
I didn't
actually
know you
gonna.
wanted it.
Yeah, it's the first time we're doing it. I'm still figuring it out too. So, so we're probably only gonna see Keith's cards here.
Okay. Well, if I can get in sync, I can tell you what I have.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Do you want the hand number or? I
Well,
can
I'm
pull up.
still trying to load my hands into the replayer here.
This one's at 10:30. 10:30 p.m. is when the final table starts.
Okay.
Well, and it has the hand number at the top too, right?
Yes. Good call, John. Oops.
Okay.
Yeah, it has
I'll
the
hit
hand
on that.
number up here. So that'll be fun. So here we go. So Window Guy 1954 has 5 big blinds and open limps. So that's got to be aces, right, team? There's no other hand. They're open limping with 5 big blinds. Maybe, let's see. We get a call from Lefty, who's a 14-10. So pretty tight and aggressive. I'm kind of surprised they don't raise over, but plenty of action left in the hand here. And Kim, you elect to check the big blind.
I'm still trying to find the hand.
No rush, no rush. And then Window Guy bets 2 big blinds of his remaining 4 in. Sure looks like a value bet to me, and we're never gonna know. We're never gonna know what they had. Ugh, unfair. But it was
I
a
think
strong hand.
now's a good time to bring up that this final table started. Apple, MYI, started as a short stack and wound up winning the whole thing.
Oh, spoiler. That's right.
Spoiler
There you go.
alert.
That's
Yeah.
a good point. Yeah. And Harold's actually here tonight. Now that we're spoiling everything. So Harold Barry, Apple Oh My Eye, looking forward to seeing your run to victory here. So
Yeah, very impressive. I just wanted to pass congratulations along while we're at it.
Thanks.
Big comeback.
And I think those that stick around to the end will see that Keith and Harold got to play a little bit before it was over. So I'm looking forward to getting into that too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, starting with 8 big blinds, and you can see some of the chip stacks out here. Keith's out to a huge lead at 84, but Fergie's got 49. Captain Walleye's got 30. Ket Geek's got 32. So there's still a lot. John runs these awesome structures where you actually get a lot of play out of it. So here, I think we can say that Window Guy was probably strong. And let's just double check here for one quick thing. All right. Next. Good fold, good disciplined fold. Oh, nice. Captain Walleye gets a walk. You'll love that.
What time are we on?
We are currently 10:31.
Perfect.
And I'm actually just gonna stop share for a sec here and pop out the chat in case someone else shows up that wants to get let in. Sorry, because when I'm screen sharing, I can't actually see the chat there. Okay, here we go. I swear I do this for a living. Okay, this is better. All right, so next hand, we get a 2x from Jacob. And this is actually you, isn't it, Jacob? This isn't your dad this time?
Yeah, this is me.
I love that. We gotta get that full story one of these days.
Yeah.
And people respect your game. That's it. The Ket Geek opens and everybody folds. Smart. That guy knows what he's doing. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe Window Guy just plays a limp strategy here. So we got a limp, Uncle Tom's Cabin, 4X's, which is fine. You could even go a little smaller given the chip stacks, but I think that makes a lot of sense. We get a cold call from Lefty. I don't know about that. And the limp fold from Window Guy with 1954. I think that's a mistake. I think if you're going to be limping with 8 big blinds, it should not be to limp fold. So that would be something for them to think about if they're watching this later. And this is a great board for the raise over limper. We'll see if lefty was getting trappy or not. Okay, so Uncle Tom's Cabin, nice. Take it down. Oh, okay, so I've got it set so that we can see everyone's. This is one of these show known hole cards. So anytime it goes to showdown, we're actually going to see the hands the cards that they had the entire time in the hand. So that's just a setting that you can set in Poker Tracker there. So that'll be fun. Oops. So let's see. I think we're obviously going to get an open from Apple. Big open. Oh, the shove, of course. Naturally, perfect.
Do you think this is a call here for me? Because I remember in the moment, I'm calling 7 bigs. I close the action.
Right.
I have whatever connectors, but they're not suited connectors. It's not great.
I mean, it's that kind of thing where you're closing the action is important, and having 2 relatively connected, relatively high cards, you're in pretty good shape against a lot of random hands, right? I don't know if it's a spot given the. I don't know if it's I mean, the ICM in these is all kind of weird because there's only 1 pin, right? So
yeah, there's only 1 winner, so there's no ICM.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, so it's like it's a very different final table from that point of view. What do other people think in the group? Is this a time to?
I think that you should always play like there is ICM because we're playing for play money and you need to practice proper ICM play. So I think it's a fold.
No, that's fair. You could. I respect that.
Yep.
Because I remember in the moment I was like, I don't know if I'm supposed to call or fold here, whatever. And I think in a normal tournament where there was money involved, I am laying this down, whatever.
Yeah.
But because it's just playing for first, I made a little bit more looser-ish call, but I knew it was still a close spot in my mind.
Honestly, that's an adjustment I make in these Tournament of Champions too, because I just only care about first place, but that isn't what you want to be practicing. Kim makes an excellent point about that. And Kim, every time we get in these spots where we talk about like, oh, not this hand, not this spot, I always want to just say, so what are some, where's the cutoff for that then? Because you're probably calling with ace king and not with 9-10. So is there a place where you feel like in this spot it's like a clear call with ace king, ace queen, pocket
Yeah, for sure.
eights or better, or something?
Probably ace 9 suited and up, and ace 10 offsuit and up, and king queen offsuit, king jack suited and up.
Yeah.
And pocket pairs probably from 7 or 8 and up, I think.
I think so too. I think that's the same kind of, and it's the same kind of, it's the same point that I think Jacob's making about like, it's just a question of where is the equity line drawn. So I like that. So
yeah, and I do think there's a little bit of a difference too with the Tournament of Champions versus the other tournaments. With the other tournaments, I do try to play them a little bit more like I care about ICM. But for this particular one, I really just want a silver pin. So
yeah, that's how I looked at it too. I wanted a silver pin because I had this big stack. I didn't bully medium stacks like I normally would if I had a big stack like this going into the final table. I knew that with that big stack, all I was a target. So I actually played it a little more snug than normal.
That's awesome. And I think like we should be adjusting our play to suit our goals, right? Like I think that is part of what makes good poker players is serving your goals. So let's see how we did. Well, I guess we know it didn't it didn't take Harold out. So there we go. Nice double up, apple on my eye. And let's move on to the next one here. I like that open. Yeah, so window guy is not afraid to speculate with a short chip stack. I think that's an error. Although he's ahead now. And knows it with the one big line value bet. Yeah, queen high. You're the second high hand. You're the second high. Yep, nice. 2x from Fergie. That could be anything. She's crazy.
Pretty sure it was queen nine of diamonds.
Cat Geek, do you remember what you shoved in there? Something?
I do not remember what I had.
No, 27's.
I mean, it's a large jam.
Yeah.
So
I'm pretty folding queen nine of diamonds there.
Yeah.
There you go. Nice. And we get a nice little raise and gets the blinds from Keto. We got another 2x here from Fergie, and she picks it up.
Jason, what would you jam there with that you wouldn't just re-raise, like 3-bet?
Please honest, I don't remember what I had there. So whatever, but I am guessing I more than likely I should end up 3-betting instead of 27 big blind jammed it. But it's also in the thing though too where I don't know, at least for where I'm considering it. If I had ace queen, ace king, or something like that in that spot, and I'm 3-betting it to like, I would be 3-betting it to 8 or 9. I'm already putting in a third of my stack. So I'm completely fine. I don't know what I had, but I'm guessing I had ace king, ace queen there, and I'm completely fine getting it all in there 27 bigs, especially with no ICM considerations. So that's my guess why I didn't 3-bet it off a 27 big blind stack. How I play, I'm perfectly fine getting all my money in the middle. I'm not, if I lose, I lose type thing. Obviously, in all the tournaments, ICM plays a lot more consideration, especially with a lot more shorter stack.
I think if you're getting ace king in there with 27 big blinds, it's probably a mistake because you're just folding out all the worst aces. And you would like to maybe keep some of the worst aces, some aces that you're beating in, like ace queen, ace jack, ace 10, which might call a 3-bet.
True. I don't remember what I had here though, so that's the tough part. I wish I kind of knew what I had.
With a
I'm
powerhouse.
just talking in
sorry.
general.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that hand, but in general.
Yeah, like ace king there, I would not go all in, but I could actually see if there was a bigger pot, slightly bigger, going all in with ace queen offsuit or something. But yeah, I was just wondering, just curious in general, like, would you shove a medium pair there? Is that why you did it, or but?
I think it was sixes.
Sure.
Yeah, you got your
I'm
spidey
not sure.
senses.
I wish I knew.
But yeah, it's a tricky stack size too. That's where that 3-bet does start to be in that realm of, do I have to make this a shove? Yeah, so once you get down below like 28, because you can often 3-bet to 7, I find, if the open is small enough, and still get a lot of fold equity with that. But yeah, once you know, and that's a tricky balance to make too. So I like that. Plus, you don't want to get into a pot with Fergie 56 and have to play post flop.
Well, that's the thing too. Well, either of those, you know.
He would though when he's in position. That's the best place to be.
Yeah, that's right.
That is true.
That's right. Okay, well, we get another limp from Window Guy.
I get to see a free flop with 7 of hearts, 3 of clubs.
Oh, well, a monster. And check. And they put out a pot size bet on the turn. So you're
on the ace turn, yeah.
You're an easy fold, yeah. Yep. I wonder, I'm starting to think that Window Guy might just might be a fairly straightforward player.
I think on a different kind of turn, I could have taken that with a lead.
Yeah, I was wondering, but that's not where you want to do it.
No.
All right, Keki got another no showdown hand. Here we go with the 2.2 2x open size from the button.
Ace of diamonds, 10 of spades.
Lovely, love that. I think that's a good disciplined fold there, monkey system. No sense getting out of line this early. Okay, so I was hoping I wanted Mike, one of our members, Lefty 19. I was hoping they were going to make it tonight, but I didn't see them getting in here in time, unfortunately. Let me just open that up just again and make sure. Making the open, also using that 2.2 pre-flop open size. And we get the big one. Okay, so this is an effective stack play. Keto Man only has 18 big blinds left, and Lefty only has 15. So no matter what size monkey system raises to here, it's functionally going to be an all-in anyway. Is there any way? Yeah, go ahead.
This was a re-steal play.
Yeah.
All the way because of the re-steal stacks.
Yep. Yep. I love it. And there's nothing on Keto Man that makes me think that if we had called that he is like crazy loose enough to just put a bunch of dead money in there with a shove squeeze. So I think you're better off forcing the action there. And we get the call from Lefty. 15 big blinds. I don't know. Panel wants to talk about ace nine suited if that's where they want to be for that. It's right in that. With 15 big blinds, it's right in that area. Oh my God. Okay, well that's.
Yeah.
It can't be results oriented here. That, in my opinion, the ace nine, if you decide not to shove it to begin with, then it's a borderline call off.
Yeah.
With that reshove, because you're probably not ahead of much that's doing that. I mean, there's pocket eights maybe is doing that, and that's just a flip. Like it's a dominated ace situation or a pair, which you're probably not flipping with. And I think that ace nine of clubs would have been just fine as a jam there. An open shove.
The nice thing about
run out. Nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. The nice thing about the jam is that you get more folds than you think. You don't really pay attention all the time to how many folds you get in those kind of spots, but it's not. You get more money from the folds than you do from the rare times that someone decides to like rejam ace 8 or ace 7 or something silly like that, where you're actually ahead. Most of the time you're behind or flipping. So you'd rather just pick up those blinds.
In this particular case, if he had jammed like he should, I would have jammed over the top anyway.
Yeah.
With that hand.
Yeah.
And we would have had the same result.
Yep. Exactly. Correct.
But that's results oriented thinking too.
That's right. And it's funny, like a lot of poker, you like the cards kind of play themselves. Like, it's like you don't worry about how to get money from the guys that also have a really good hand. You gotta the art in poker is those hands around the edges. So that's what we're gonna make most of our money. All right, so I see an open. Oh, I would have opened that. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. 27 big blinds. Keck Geek's got to start being a little careful in the big blind there. I don't think Jacob's going to get too out of line.
I must have been thinking that's a rejam stack right behind me there.
Yeah, Keto has a good rejam stack, but he's only 3-betting 5%. He's only 3-betting 5% over a sample size of a little over 400 hands. So, it'll be higher than that when he's got a low stack, but he's not like getting out of line necessarily, but yes. Yeah. It's a good thing to be thinking about, looking left and just tightening up when you see that reshove stack. They still got that reshove stack now.
Yeah. I like this hand better though.
Yeah.
Now I remember this hand. I remember that.
What a weird 3-bet.
Yeah, that to me in my mind that screamed value.
Yeah,
big hand.
I think so too. So, wow. So you 2x, and he goes up to 3 and 3 and a bit. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Anybody got any predictions? Anyone in the chat have any predictions as to what we're going to see from Keto Man here? I'm assuming it goes fold. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Wow.
it can't fold any two cards. I don't think there. I mean, you can flop two pair, you can flop two tens, you can flop all kinds of stuff.
I still
Just for
remember.
those odds, I understand you're probably beat, so you're probably
yeah.
check folding on the flop, but you just have such beautiful odds there.
Yeah, this up here, one of the things I like about the Poker Tracker replayer is that it shows you the odds that you're getting on your call. And then it also shows you the equity that you have against a random hand. And when you know what the hands are, then you can actually see what your actual equity, which is very interesting. And yeah, I think it's just too small a bet not to call to see, but it does scream strength to me too.
You usually have at least 25 to 30% equity, even if he has aces there. So you should be calling for those pot odds.
But I'm with you, Keith. I think you're going to see a very high pocket pair.
I agree.
We should ask him. I know Kean's he's slaving away in the vineyard tonight. He wanted to join us, but he's working overtime. Maybe we can ask him what he had that time. All right, nice one, Keto Man. If you're watching the video later, we have no comments to you so far. Let's see how it develops. It's probably a fold for me, even for
what?
Well, yeah, it's because it's.
I just know. I mean, I can't believe I folded ace-7.
Oh. Yeah, middle position.
Ace-7 offsuit.
Yeah, it's not a. Yeah, it's Tournament of Champions. Fergie's feeling the heat.
Tighten it up.
Yep. Now we got a walk for lefty. Another walk. Oh, we're in walk town now. Okay, now we got a 3x from Window Guy who only has 8 big blinds. Now I am so confused. I have no idea what this guy has, and we'll never know. Okay, so now we got a 2x from Jacob, a call, and a call from Fergie in the small blind. So that's going to be, that's interesting. And then a fold from Rob, getting great odds on the big blind there.
I think this is kind of a spewy call. It's king. I have king 4 suited, and I think it's a bit spewy.
Some context here too. Rob was sitting out for the majority of the very beginning of the Tournament of Champions. He comes back like a couple of hands before I bust out in this, but he was sitting out for like you just said, a couple of minutes there.
Okay, cool. That's interesting. So that makes your open here even more suspect than Jacob. I feel like you're opening real wide here.
Probably. I do not know what I have, obviously.
Yeah. So okay. So then Fergie, that makes that call by Tim a little better. Maybe a 3-bet there.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I would have preferred a 3-bet there.
Yep. And you're out of position, so it's going to be hard to make that the kind of sizing, because with Uncle Tom's Cabin, he only has 17 big blinds back there. That's gonna make that a little complicated.
Yeah, if it was just against Jacob alone without the call from the 15 big blind stack, I think I would have been a good squeeze spot.
Yeah.
Or a good raise spot.
And King 4 is a pretty good candidate for that as a polarized 3-betting range candidate, because it is going to be it's going to dominate some hands. It's going to flush well when it does, and it's got some blockers to some very good hands out there as well. So they don't make any more good hands, so you have to choose some bad hands. That's one of the better ones to choose.
So because Rob was sitting out there, I would have probably just called there thinking I can close the action, and and you got a good high, suited hand potential. But
but you're investing, like you're paying half a big blind. You're investing in a spot you don't want to be in. You're going to play out of position multi-way with a hand that can only really make a flush. So it's like,
I mean, I could see folding there too. So
I could see any of these outcomes depending on the dynamic.
I just think that it's Probably better to try to just always fold or raise in the small blind.
Hard to go wrong with that attitude.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah.
But because Rob was out, it's kind of like you're a big blind almost.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah, that is a big difference. It's a big difference, Doug. Being able to close the action. Yep, I like that. And because it's the big blind that's sitting out, it's also there's significantly more dead money in the pot than there would be if any other position was the player that was sitting out. So you're going to want to get in with a little more. Oops. All right, so here we go. All right. And this will be interesting.
So if we're deeper, I think this is a call. I have 3 to a straight and 3 to a flush here.
Yep, and an overcard.
So yeah, and an overcard. But I think because we're so short, that king 4 of spades is a fold.
Yep, I think so too. And this is pretty good for that calling range. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Keck Geek give it up. No, okay, so they've got some of this. They got a piece of this.
Oh, spade.
Oh.
Always happens.
Yeah, so they come out with the shove on the turn and take it down. So let's just take a look at the sizing. So I guess there was a pretty. They did a good job. I mean, their stack was set up for the sizing. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking here. Because then when they do get called, there's a less than pot size shove before. So that feels like a value hand for them. But it's a good spot for them to take a stab there too, when Jacob doesn't see bet. Aha, this one goes to showdown, Jacob. That's what that tells us. So here we go. Yeah. Okay, so 2x and then the call by Keith out of the big blind. I don't see any problem with that. Some people like to 3-bet these offsuit wheel aces as a polarized spot, but I don't mind calling there. So I expect Keith is going to check about 100% of his range. Jacob, what do you think, team? Should Jacob be c-betting here, or should he be checking this one back? 10-4-2, 2 diamonds. I think I like
a lot of money. I would put a lot of money that I see bet.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not like it's an uncoordinated board, but if you got 2 overs, you got a backdoor straight, you're in position. I'd probably put a c-bet out there to like what do you think, team? 1,200 or something like that. Let's see.
Yeah, that sounds
a little smaller. A little smaller. So you're not worried about you're not worried about chasing out flush draws. And I expect we're going to get a call here. Okay, let's see the turn. Check, check. Yeah, you lose your backdoor. Doesn't really change enough to get Keith off a hand. So I guess the only thing is, if you wanted to threaten a river shove, you would have needed to put a bet in here on the turn to make the stacks line up. But so you're going to check behind? Yeah. All right. Well, hey, king, queen's off. It's going to be good there sometimes. All right. Nice takedown by Monkey System. Oops. There we go. All right. There's that 2.2 open. We get the call from Keith. Ooh, fun. I love monotone flops. So usually what's going to happen here is the out of position player is going to check. The in position player is going to make a small bet. The out of position player is going to fold, and it really doesn't matter what anybody had. Let's see if that's what happens here. Yep, that's how you play monotone flops, everybody. Just make a small bet in position. All right, moving on. That's easy. Oh, you were one hand too late, Monkey System. This is the hand you wanted on that flop back there.
Right.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. Reshove. You're thinking reshove stacks. Yep. Yeah. And if you look around the table here, so we're getting 10 big blinds, 10 big blinds, 18, 19, 19. I think we will expect to start seeing some more pre-flop shoves here, and that should affect our opening ranges. And this is, it's hard to keep ahead of that curve a little bit, but it's you can lose a lot of chips just 2 big blinds at a time if you don't tighten up, if you don't tighten up in the right spot. I'm still, I mean, it's hard for me not to open a button no matter what I have, which is kind of a problem. So depending on what I knew about these players, Keck Geek's very wide. This one stat I have here is fold to late position steal, and they're actually folding a lot to late position steals in this tournament so far. So that would make me more inclined to make this an open, just because the reason on my HUDs, the reason that number's right there is because when they're to your left, it's like boom. You just got to see, do they have a restack, a reshove stack? Do they fold? So I'd probably open it just exploitatively against this nitty player on my left here.
Hey, Jim,
yeah.
if you were in Keith's spot and you were going to raise, would it always be 2.2-ish there?
At this point, it would be 2, because the only
Why not
other
2.2 if you got?
Because the effective stack is 18 big blinds. So even though I have a lot, no one else does. So if, let's say Keck Geek had 40 big blinds and Keto Man only had 19, then I might do 2.2 again, because this is the player who I want to leverage their stack. But because the other players all have a smaller chip stack, I'm going to tailor my bets to their chip stack, not to mine. And when I do this with my full range at 2x, I save 0.2 big blinds every time when they do get out of line. So that's why. But yes, if they had more chips, I would open bigger.
But aren't you given like too good of odds then? Like, I don't know if you fold hardly anything if you only have to put in 1 big blind to win that, and maybe an extra 0.2 isn't that big of a deal. But
it's exactly the kind of mistake I want them to make. That's it. I want them to get involved in a hand now for a really cheap price that they can't really, they don't have a deep enough stack to maneuver with. They're going to kind of have to get either flop honest or, make a gutsy play. I'm going to be in position. So doing that with
perceived bigger range, better range.
Yeah, stronger range. Exactly. So I would love for the player with 18 big blinds to call my 2x from the button, because they're probably going to do it too wide, and that benefits me in the long
I
run.
suppose if they had a hand,
I'm going to hear about it. Yeah.
Right. So,
yeah.
Whether he'll hear about it if he makes it 2.2, and now he just saved himself 0.2 of a big blind.
Yeah, I guess I think I was listening to Jonathan Little the other night. He said a lot of pros aren't doing the 2 times anymore because it's too easy for people to call, and they're doing like slightly more than that. But
I think no, that's correct. And I think the players that Jonathan Little's like playing with,
they're not us.
Yes, and
he's also not. It's also not talking about when you're less than 20 big blinds. That's very, very important. It's
I guess I didn't hear. He wasn't. Yeah. I didn't hear him talk about stack sizes at that point. So
yeah, and I do think it is particular to short stack play.
Yeah, I'm sure when I folded that hand is because I was hearing Chris Fox Wallace's words in my head. Don't open if you can't call a re-steal.
Yeah. Yep.
So, and that hand can't call a re-steal.
Correct.
I only have this to say: it's that you have 2 players behind you that you understand about re-steals and won't think you're opening light.
Yeah. So like it's a leveling war, right? It's like, I think that they think this about me, and they think that I think this about them, and so that's what's gonna be. It's funny, poker. So much of it just comes down to like, was he strong or weak this time? But there's all these different layers of strong and weak on top of each other. It's like you don't even know which one you're looking at. So that's where this fancy play syndrome stuff can come in sometimes. Yeah, Jacob.
This is the hand what ends up crippling me. I remember exactly what I have. I don't remember suit. I sold off suit. I had king 10 off here. And Keto up the 3.3. And I have a note. I don't have a poker tracker, but I have a note that he does 3.3 with a wide range of hands. Like he could have, like, it's more balanced. It's not just like, oh yeah, it's a monster. It's 3.3. There's a weird spot on 18 bigs. I don't know if I'm supposed to be jamming. Should I be folding? Should I be calling? It's just a weird bet size. I mean, not weird bet size, but it's a different bet size, blind versus blind. And I don't feel like I'm good blind versus blind.
Right. It's hard with those wide ranges. Yeah. Yeah.
So I know I have king 10 here.
Yeah. So I guess so one thing I should say, Jacob, is we actually figured out a way earlier this year. Even if you don't have Poker Tracker 4, you can still download your hand histories from Poker Stars, and then you can actually they only save them for 30 days or something like that. But you can have them downloaded to your computer, and then if you want, you can review them, or you can send them to me or a friend who has Poker Tracker, and I can load them up in my Poker Tracker for review. So even if you don't have Poker Tracker, you can start downloading your hand histories, and you'll have them later for review.
Sounds good, thank you.
I think that hand, when against the small blind, when they raise to 3.3, is either a jam or a fold.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind a jam there. You're gonna make him fold a lot of stuff.
Yep, and you're gonna realize your equity.
And I hate, and this is another spot where I did not enjoy it. I didn't like anything.
Yeah.
This, so.
Yeah, it's a tough spot, right? Even in position, because they're very tempted to get their chips in here too. And I'm with you. That 3x open is big, which you should be doing from the small blind. But
I believe that's probably a steal. I think if he had value, he's probably gonna jam.
Yep.
But that's just what I think. How I would play.
Keto man, you're putting us in knots tonight.
I was just thinking that he was doing some unorthodox sizing and confused us all, and that was his goal.
So yes, exactly. Well, Kian's no fool.
Perfect.
He knows what he's doing.
He
knows what he's doing. Okay, so this is actually basically the same bet size. Yeah, so it's he just does the same bet again. And with King 10, I'm inclined to call here. What do you think, gang? Doesn't feel like the right flop to get real frisky with that King 10, but I don't think we can fold. I'm probably calling. All right, I got one right. Let's see. Now we do have that shove stack. When Keto checks the turn there, is it checking for weakness or checking to induce? Anybody got any theories? Let's see. Get the check back. Yeah, I'd love to get that 10 to showdown, right, Jacob?
Yeah. Then I think the worst card possible to come off on the river, because even Jack 10's I'm behind now.
Right.
Ace Jack will raise originally. I'm behind. Backdoor diamonds get there. I think he bets. I mean,
yeah,
and it's diamonds there. I think he goes on the turn.
What a weird bet size. He leaves 1,893 behind. So either that's the birthday of a relative, or like I don't know. That's a weird bet size. What do you think, gang? Strength or trying to save some in case he gets called?
I think he has Jack 10.
I think it's strength.
Yeah.
Is that a 2/3 bet size? Could it be an automatic thing?
Oh, maybe. Good point, John. Maybe he's just got his sliders set to it.
60%.
Yeah.
I will say,
I know. I was just gonna say I'll often make that mistake where I'll do some default thing and then realize after I click it that because of my stack size or some other reason that was the wrong thing to do.
Right. Yep. Sneaky Kian, I'm sorry you missed the show tonight. We want to get in your head. Kian Tavakoli, wherever you are, call your office. All right, let's see. So yeah, so Keki takes a hit there, but the tournament continues. 12 big blinds and a dream. This is a pretty clear open. I expect we'll get a call based on what we know from our friend Window Guy. Woo! All right, something tells me this is going to be the end of Window Guy. Okay, monkey system. Oh yeah, you want to play poker? He says. Here you go. All right, yeah. Well, that is a very wet board. You definitely don't want to see any other cards at all, do you? So, yeah.
Now, with that hand, I'm hoping for a call.
Oh yeah, definitely. You're definitely hoping for a call. Does anyone? I don't think a check back is in play here. Does anyone want to argue for a smaller sizing in case you can get other hands to come? Well, no, with 10, guy's got less than 10 big blinds. I don't think he's going to be very elastic to bet sizing here. I think
Yeah, I
window guy
almost
has to
think
have it.
a
Or,
bigger bet like this, putting him all in at this point, to me reads weaker.
yeah,
And given how strong you are, I think that's appropriate.
yeah,
So I like this sizing in this spot.
yeah. Me too. Gets the call. Brick. All right, perfect. There you go. Nice double up, Keith. And good game, window guy. The first to fall. All right, let's see. And Harold, just mad props on the discipline. You haven't been the deck has been smacking you with the wrong side of it. Unfortunately, you haven't had a lot of chances to get out of line, but you're sitting there snug and waiting for the right spot. And I think that's exactly the right take here. What was your Harold? What was your take on the play? Like at this point, did you feel like the table was tight? That the table was loose? Were there people that you were thinking, "Oh, I can't wait to get in against this person," or "Here's someone I better watch out for"?
You can see from all the red by my name. I'm patient.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, well, good. That's usually how you win poker tournaments. Hey, and look, you even win a hand every once in a while without even having to VPIP. Get the walk out of the big blind there. Nicely done, sir.
You did that a number of times.
Yeah, lefty.
Yeah.
And you can see up here, lefty is also a pretty tight player, 14.96. So they're not really getting out of line. Their raise first in is 13%, and their attempt to steal is 23. So they are positionally aware, and they are opening more in late position than in early position. So they are going to be stealing sometimes, but let's see. They got 200 hands. Let's just take one quick second. I want to look at the other HUD here. This is a bigger HUD. And I just want to look at, yeah, let's just take one sec here and see their actual small blind. Raise first in. Yeah, they've only done it once, but they're not allergic to it. All right, so that's good to know. We'll get this big HUD out of the way. Here we are back with the RecPoker one. Okay. There we go. Uh-oh, something's gonna happen. So get a 2x from Rob under the gun. Oh, it's shove time, says Keck Geek.
Guess who wakes up?
Oh my God. She always has it. She always has it, folks. And I'm guessing Rob gets out of the way here. Okay, you got a backdoor? Oh boy, this could get interesting. Oh, and that was the end of Keck Geek. Good shove though. And as you guessed correctly, Jacob, Rob was able to find the fold there. So bad luck that Kim woke up with pocket kings, but not much to be done about that. Good game to you, sir.
Yeah, that hand pretty much played itself.
Yep. And it's funny how often that happens, isn't it? Yeah. That's okay, Jacob. I know this isn't your only appearance at the final table, so I'm not too worried about getting some more of your hands through here eventually.
I want to be the first one to win 2 of them. So
yes, I love that, man.
Well, your parents should have taught you to share.
Hey, there's only like a week left. I'm not qualified for the next one yet. So I'll let my dad take the next one.
Yeah, I love it. Dueling Keck Geeks. All right, let's
Jacob,
see.
did you say you play at Running Aces or used to?
No, I never play Running Aces. I mostly play at Treasure Island, and it's not as big of a poker room, but the fields are pretty soft, and the structure is actually like a lot like it's actually a decent structure for under $100 buy-ins. So that's usually where I end up playing. I'll play Canterbury here and there.
So here's another monotone flop situation. So we get the 2x from Rob in late position with 12 big blinds. So, you know, he's choosing not to jam here for a reason. And that can be, I think with Captain Walleye, it's probably because he has a very, very strong hand, but you never know. Good fold from Keith. Key in calls. Monotone flop. How's it going to go, everybody? Check, small bet, fold every time. Actually, I think he really made that bet bigger than he had to be honest with you, given his chip stack and the board. So that makes me feel like he had an overpair that did not have a spade. If I had to
Red
guess.
something.
Yeah.
A red overpair.
Is Rob still here? I know he has to leave. Rob had to go. He had a work commitment. I don't think he's still here. But Rob, if you're watching later, let me know if you had a red overpair there, because that's how that reads to me. Good hand. Ooh. Okay, mandatory open. Oh yeah, we get that little 3-bet there. So it's so small. Like, is there really fold equity here when you make these small 3-bets out of position? Like, it's 5.5 big blinds, right? So I'm assuming Uncle Tom folds here. Let's just see. So yeah, so you can see up here, like, we're getting really good odds. It's going to be hard to fold anything.
The only reason I could see for doing this would be to set yourself up for the steal on the flop.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if they call, you could almost shove the flop if you wanted. It'll be an overbet, but it's not going to be a huge overbet.
Yeah, so it could be that kind of stop and go kind of thing. Let's see how it goes. Good call, Keith. And we'll see. This is the kind of spot that you would want to get it in there, I think, as Keto Man, if that was your plan, because you get a lot of fold equity and you also have a redraw. So let's see. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just how it feels to me. Then, yeah, the Keto Man is choosing not to employ fold equity here in a couple spots. That's what I'm getting from this. He's choosing not to add some fold equity. Gets the fold. Didn't need it. Didn't need that extra fold equity. It's weird, right? Like that's the second time he's like presented strength in that way.
Yeah, it worked this time. I'm looking at it now and cringing.
Yeah.
But
me too.
I remember I probably had to be thinking the same thing. You know, that just screams strength again.
Yeah.
But you can still fold to the jam on the turn. You can just wait and see what he does on the turn. You can just call, and you might pick up another diamond, and you just wait and see what he does. You know.
And then he does show it. He does show it after you fold. That's why we see it, because he then shows it afterwards. Action is ended. And he shows it. So he's having some fun tonight too.
I love it.
Yep. Yeah.
Tough one though. It's always tough with the ace out there, because that's, you know, you have to put that on a big part of his range.
And Keith wants to win this freaking tournament, right? And he's got all these chips, and he knows. Like, Keith, I'm putting words in your mouth, but like when I get in the spot, I feel like I just don't want to start giving out 6 and 8 big blinds at a time here until I'm back in the middle of the pack. And so I think that's like, yeah. And it also I feel like people are less likely to bluff us because we have a big chip stack and we don't really care So it makes their ranges stronger against us, which makes us inclined to fold more. So it's very strange. It's a very strange dynamic.
I think it could also be a jam pre-flop with the fact that he's raising the small. It's just a button small blind thing. So
Yeah.
he knows your range is really wide, which makes his range really wide. And I think your king queen suited is one of the top, is more towards the top of your range there. And I can see jamming that pre-flop as well, and just getting up to see the equity with all 5 cards coming, assuming you're going to get called most of the time.
Yeah. Yeah, because and you're gonna, the problem with king queen is that it's behind those ace king, ace queen hands.
But it's ahead of all the pairs he's doing that
there
with.
you go. That's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Not ahead, but it's racing with.
Yeah, and it's still ahead of a lot of the other hands too, those unpaired hands. So, yep, I like that. I like that. All right. Keto Man, get some chips. Here we get. He found it. He found the spot he was waiting for. Pocket eights with 8 big blinds. It was just meant to be. And gets the ISO shove from Uncle Tom there, which I think is the right play. We don't want lefty coming along. And double up for Harold. Nicely done, sir. I think everyone.
And I folded the king 4 just to let you know.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, well, we didn't want. You don't want to play that garbage. Suited. And so now look around the table. Things have changed a bit. We've only lost 2 players, but the chips have kind of been redistributed a little bit. So Uncle Tom's Cabin's the short stack, and then Captain Walleye's got 15, Apple's got 18, and Fergie and Monkey System. And you can see the color coding that I used. They're the only ones outside of that dangerous pink zone. So good spot for them.
Jim, that last hand, when Uncle Tom's Cabin went all in or whatever.
Yeah.
With what was it? Ace
Jack.
I can't. Ace Jack. Go. Okay, I couldn't. I thought it was Ace 6. I'm like, man, that seems gutsy.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it with Ace 6. And if anyone's watching at home, if you want to move these around, you can't just do it. You have to either press Control, and that'll let you move them around one at a time. Or if you go to Unlock Layout, put them all exactly where you want them. And then when you go to Lock and Save Layout, it'll put them there every time you open up the same format of table. All right. Easy fold. Harold gets the walk. People respect the game. Apple, oh my eye. All right, 2x from Rob takes it down. Hello. Like the 2x. Call on the button. And so what this K here stands for cold call 2-bet, which is a stat that I added. And it's just all the times that they have called in position instead of raising to an open raise, not a limp. So 11%, it's a pretty small sample size. You've only done it 4 times. And we can just take a look here. Called 2-bet in position, pocket kings, pocket 5s, ace jack off, and ace queen off. So that's a pretty good varied calling range there. We can't really get too detailed into that. Some people that cold call with like 6% or 9% of hands, it's almost all pocket pairs and then some suited connectors. Looks like you've got some offsuit Broadway in there, so that's going to make you harder to play against. So I like that. So it also means that board actually favors you, Harold, more than it might some cold callers ranges. And I wonder if we'll get a C-bet from Keith.
Yeah, that's definitely
big blinds. It's funny. I used to think C-betting was just this really automatic thing, and I find myself second guessing more and more. Especially the more of these seminars we do with Chris Jones, we really talk about the theory of some of those.
I think this is the C-bet here, though.
I think it is.
He's an under the gun raiser.
He's got all the aces.
He could be the button can be calling with pocket pairs lower than an 8, lower than a queen, and I think that you know, this is a pretty good flop for under the gun raiser's range.
What do you think about sizing, Kim? And are we actually trying to fold out hands like draws
I
here?
think it can be small here,
Okay, so we're really only folding air out at this point.
like 30 to 50%.
Let's see.
That's fine.
Yep. It's like you'd love to get, yeah. So we're gonna get the call. I think he's gonna call a lot with the hands that he chooses to continue with. Let's see. Not a bad card for us. Do we continue here? Group?
I don't know. We're blocking the flush draw. So we're putting them on probably some sort of made hand and not a draw as likely, I think. So I may check here.
We turned the double gut shot. So we've got 8 outs to a straight and another 2 to the boat. But then there's going to be a 4 card, or sorry, to the set. And then there's going to be a 4 card straight out there. So that's not actually as exciting as it would be in some circumstances. As played, check and a small bet.
Well, that's over half the pot.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. And interestingly, if you call, he's going to have about a 40% pot bet left on the river. So, Harold, do you remember what you had here? I'd love to get your insight.
I don't remember what I had. I know my slider is about 55% type thing. Yeah. That tells me I'm getting it in on the river.
Yes. yeah, that's right. Do you remember if this was like a value bet or if you were bluffing here? Or?
I'm pretty sure it's a value bet.
Feels like a value bet to me too. Feels like a value bet to me. Okay, there we go. I think that's a good fold, given the dynamic. I don't know if.
Yeah, with the queen and the ace out there, and him putting money in on every street so far.
Yep.
And being in position for another street, I didn't like it.
Yep.
Sometimes if you have red jacks there, it's more of a call because you're not blocking any of the flush draws. But you are blocking straight draws, so it's not a great spot.
Yeah. And you're not going to hit your outs often enough for how many chips Apple's going to have left in his stack afterwards. So you're not really going to, your implied odds aren't very good.
I mean, cleanouts are only 2 kings.
Right. All right. Well, I think that was well played, everybody, then. Gets the walk with the suited king. 2x from Captain Walleye here. So same principle as before. I like that. Call from Monkey System. So did you think about 3-betting here, Keith? Because he's but it was just
but this is either a call or a 3-bet. You're playing for the nut flush here.
Right.
So it could go either way, I think.
Then you bring along Keto because he's getting a great price at that point. Oof. All right. So I think you're gonna check that all the time, no matter what. I would expect Captain Walleye. Well, it's pretty good flop for his hand, but it's actually brutal for his range. Keto's got the best range advantage here, I'd say, in the big blind. I don't know. Do you guys like I'm probably c-betting here because my hand can improve so well, even though I wouldn't be doing it with, I expect we'll see a c-bet. Yep. A little less than half. And there's the shove with bottom pair. And the call. Let's see how it goes.
Right.
I think the ace-8 is a really good 3-bet hand in that formation with the button open. And you've got a nice suited ace, and you're going to fold if Keto Man jams, and you're going to call if Captain Walleye shoves. I just think you're ahead of a lot of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the golden rule of hardly ever cold calling in the small blind.
Yep, that's right. That stinks. That's a
Just
tough.
trying to do that now. And this is where I get into trouble in this hand, in that hand between you and I when I cold call the small. So it's coming up. Don't you worry.
Yeah,
But I feel like if
them.
you're going to do it, suited ace is a good one to call with.
Not really.
No, honestly,
Not really. You don't really have the odds versus a 15 big blind stack to just be going for a flush. Those are the kind of odds you want when stacks are a lot deeper. So it works a lot better with these stack sizes as a 3-bet, in my opinion.
yeah, particularly out of position too, right? Because you're just not like, it's the same thing with baby pairs. It's just harder to get paid when you make big hands out of position. So whether it's flushes, the problem with flushes is everybody can see them, and so it's just hard. It's just hard. I think Kim, as Kim says, the stacks aren't deep enough to really get paid when you do make the nuts like that.
And then the other benefit with the ace is that you're blocking much of their calling range of your bet.
Yep.
So it's a good 3-bet from the small blind, I think.
Yep. And again, if we're trying to be in this mindset of just not calling from the small blind, like, I think that's a good challenge to everyone. And see what that does to your 3-betting range. It doesn't mean fold everything. Okay, pretty nice flop. And Uncle Tom's Cabin has very few chips. Oh, so Keith loves this shove.
I love shoving on those short stacks.
Get him in there. Yeah. Fantastic. All right. Well, no. Now again, so the only thing, the times we've seen you do it, you've had a hand. Are you also shoving with hands like 2 clubs here or some other low showdown value hand? Because like top pair, you're not, are you
4 or
balanced
5
in this
of
spot?
hearts.
Or
How about 4 or 5 of hearts?
Yeah. Great example. Because, well, yeah, with these chip stacks, we know he's not opening that, but in this spot you could be, right? So I guess that's my question, Keith.
What I'm looking at is that with that stack size he has, there's no implied odds.
Yeah.
So it's either he's going to play or he's going to fold. So I'm going to see if he wants to play. That's the way I think about these things, and maybe that's too simplistic. But once it gets down to 9 big blinds, it's shove or fold anyway.
Yep, I think that's right. Okay.
Would you ever play that where you just check and let them potentially catch up with like a jack or a queen or something? Or
that's the other side of it.
Yeah. I think it would much would depend on the player, and it depends so much. It's hard to say. I don't think I would want to get pinned. I'll sometimes play for the draw if it seems like the guy is reluctant to get it in. Because then I'm hoping for the fold. If I think he's going to overfold, then I'll do that. But generally, I mean, 9 times out of 10, because of that stack size, I'm putting him to the test. And I'll do that with semi bluffs.
Yeah, great. I don't want to play against you. That sounds like a very uncomfortable position to be in for me. So good. That's what you want.
I don't mind playing like that, trying to let him take a card and try to catch up, but the 2 clubs is a little worrisome.
Yeah. Yep. That's that great tension in these spots, right? Where you have to decide, and you can't, we talk about this sometimes. You can't just say, well, maybe this time it'll go this way, because that's gambling, and we're not gambling. We're making decisions in the long run. What's going to pay off the most? Yep. Try and spin through some of the less exciting hands. So here we get.
This is the one I couldn't stop. Yeah, I couldn't stop thinking about this one for a week.
Fantastic.
I didn't give it a second thought, except to say that I should never call out of the small blind.
So here we are. And Doug, notice that Kim is choosing a suited ace to call with. But I think it's just ace queen is just such a stronger hand that's what's factoring into her decision there. And it's also not necessarily a hand you want to be 3-betting an under the gun raiser with, because they're going to have some pretty easy decisions with most of their range. So
I think the only thing that stopped me from 3-betting was the under the gun open.
Yeah. Because and those under the gun opens, because they're tighter, they just don't have the hands that they would fold to a 3-bet make up a much smaller proportion of their overall range. So it just makes a less tempting target for that.
I made so many mistakes this hand, it's not even funny.
All right.
Kim, I guarantee
feel like I did too.
Me raising, you would have 3-bet me.
Well, maybe not under the gun, because people have this magical feeling about the under the gun that it's just super tight, even though I think most of us are actually looser than we should be under the gun. But that's poker. Oh boy. All right. So
loving it.
Love and life from the small blind now, right?
Yeah, and actually in this position, I'm loving this flop, because that's the under the gun raiser's flop right there.
Yeah. So I'm guessing Kim checks here, and I'm guessing we get a C bet from Keith, and we do about a little over half pot.
And this is where I think I make a mistake. I think I get greedy sometimes and think I'm going to let him keep bluffing into me, and I think I need to raise here.
Yep.
I think this is 100% a raise.
Yep.
I don't think I do.
And so if you raise here, what are you doing if he re-raises?
I'm getting this in with my ace.
Okay.
And my backdoor diamonds and backdoor straight.
And your backdoor
draw.
straight. Yep. Okay. So this is a commit hand.
But I think I am getting greedy here, and I'm just going to let him bluff into me.
Right. Ooh. Oh boy.
And this is like the worst turn, because
it's the worst.
No, it's not, because what I was thinking was, oh man, I'm not going to get any more value out of this hand. This went from a bluff to value, but I'm not going to get any value here because that's got flush all over it.
Is the river a king or something?
So Fergie, so Kim checks again. Keith goes for the value bet here with the straight on the 3 flush, which I think is fantastic. I don't think enough people make that value bet there, so that's really well done. And we get the call from Fergie, and now there's the non-believer. That's right. And there is now about a pot size bet back. So here we go. Small. This again looks like a value bet. And get the call from Fergie, and take
it's only because of the sizing.
Yeah,
and that was what was intended. I was thinking the only way I'm going to get any more value here is with a curious call, a crying call.
Yeah, it was a crying call. So I think I should have folded the river, but I think that also I made the mistake of not 3-betting pre-flop and not raising on the flop. Just because I'm out of position, and it's so hard to play these hands out of position.
Yep.
It's better
Keith, the way you said you thought about this hand for a week, I thought you lost it.
I thought I lost a lot of value is what I thought. That's why I was, because I really thought
on the river or something, or
no, my thought process was I really should have stacked her, and that might have cost me the tournament in the long run. That's what I was thinking for a long time. No.
Yeah, I think you got pretty close to max value there, Keith, from that point of view with that bet size. That you got the call that you wanted. So I think that was a good spot.
Yeah, for sure.
Another concern for me was, when that I would have much rather have had one of the other jacks on that turn.
Yeah.
But because, I mean, if she does jam over the top of this, what am I going to do here? I'm probably going to have to make the sighing call.
Yeah.
And I was thinking this could be the tournament right here if she jams, but I wasn't going to fold.
Jacob, did you have a point there?
I was just going to ask pre, if Kim 3-bets you pre, what are you doing pre?
Pre-flop?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, I'm calling. I'm
But
calling because I'm going to
he's-
be in position. It's a good hand. So you can't fold that.
But he's folding on my continuation bet.
Yep.
Yeah, probably.
I'm just curious.
Yep.
Yeah, because at this point I had nothing but a gut shot, and then the gut
Yep.
shot hit and changed everything for me.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like the sizing there, to be honest with you. I think
Yeah.
that worked out. And you know,
Okay.
you can get calls there, which was your plan, from a lot of hands. They're definitely folding to 8K. So I like that. I think that makes sense.
I would think out of more people, you could get a call with a bigger raise, because why would they call you that many times without an ace or something? So
On the river, Doug, or earlier?
yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure
that's a good
everybody, but
question.
I think I might even go like 80% or something, because I'm like, people are gonna call with an ace, and that's what
I'm
they're
not going to
targeting, I
call
think.
there.
Well,
No, I'm
yeah,
not.
because Fergie's
No,
only
I
she's only got
think
a
it
pot
depends on the
size
player,
left.
but
It's almost, yeah, the problem is it's like her whole stack is basically one.
I know I'm already losing to ace king, right? So I'm
Mhm.
already losing to ace king. I'm losing to a straight, and I'm losing to a flush, and I'm losing to ace 10 and ace jack. Like I'm losing to all of those hands, and he's like barreling 3 times. And the only reason I called the river is because it was so small. That's getting such good odds.
Yeah, I think, Doug, if you're in a spot here where
But I should have folded,
yeah,
because what has he got that he's doing that with that I beat? Is he ever doing that with ace 9? I don't think so. I think he's just
Right.
checking
No.
back. Ace 9, right? What's he ever doing this with that I beat when I make this call? I think
It's
this is a
worth-
really bad river call, even with the small bet.
yeah, it's interesting when you have the luxury of time and you can go through and actually range your opponent and reduce all those, take all those combos out, and you find that, they're actually here with very few hands that I beat take this line, right?
Right. And is he really 3-barreling this with a hand like pocket 9s? Like
Right.
he's not. So it's like ace queen of diamonds is just, I think it's just a fold, no matter what he bets. Anyway,
Yeah. I mean, because I don't think he's bluffing much at that sizing. That's the question.
I can be critical of myself. I don't mind.
I would say the only
Yeah.
thing you're like ahead of here where he could maybe be doing that would be pocket kings with the king of clubs in its hand.
Yeah.
That'd be like that's like the only hand
I like
that I
that.
could really see it. There you go 3 streets, but then he turns his hand into pretty much a bluff on the river.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and even when it's like when there's so few combos of it, then you're not giving up much by overfolding in that spot. That's real. We talked about this the other night. Sorry,
I know, but I just want to say to Jacob to say that, like, I don't think this is a bluff sizing for the river with kings. I think he either checks back if he thinks kings is good with the king of clubs, or he shoves as a bluff with the kings.
Good point.
Good point.
That's a very good point.
So
yeah, and the sizing, man, the sizing makes such a difference. Like, and when people are choosing to add fold equity and when they're not, like I find that really players are pretty binary in that way. They're either ones that small bets are value or small bets are balanced. There's not a lot of people that have that the other way. So yeah, I'm always curious to when people don't choose to add some fold equity, it's usually because they have a pretty strong range.
and it's almost too high to be a blocker bet with a weaker ace, like it's too big, that bet, to be a block bet. Like a block bet might be like 3,000 here, 2,500 or 3,000.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Yep.
My bad. Good hand. Nice hand.
Yep, nice hand.
Thanks.
Exactly. And we get a
Now I feel better about it.
Yeah, it's nice. It's always nice to be able to actually watch it go through, isn't it?
Yeah.
So we get a 2x from Harold here, and I'm pretty sure we're going to get a call from Keith.
And are those Harold stats up top?
Yes, these ones here.
Yeah. So this is the only reason I folded this hand was his stats. Because normally I have 17 big blinds. I'm shoving ace-9. I have ace-9 offsuit. I'm just going to shove it on the button versus a cutoff raise.
There you go. Would have been a nice flop for you too, Kim.
Would have.
Yeah. So that's, and Kim, are you using this HUD as well, or are you using a HUD when you're playing in these, or?
I am, but I don't have it here now. I'm going to
No, that's
show
okay.
my
I'm
HUD.
just curious. Because this is VPI, PFR, and 3-bet. And these three stats, they do populate very quickly. So they're on most HUDs, and they're probably the most important stats altogether if you had to.
Yeah, so I have a 6% raise first in. So I just have to fold the ace-9 offsuit to that raise. Whereas normally to almost anybody else, if anybody has like a 10 or, a higher one, 9, 10 more, then I'm going to just jam the ace-9.
Yep. And Harold, you can see some of these different players. We have like the bracketed numbers here, the numbers in parentheses. Those are refer to the number of hands we have on this opponent. And so you can see the difference between these two numbers. This is raise first in, and this is attempt to steal, which is just raise first in from a late position. Yours is 7 and 7. I think that's just a sample size issue because you just haven't had as many.
I'll tell them what I have 1K hands on them.
Oh, okay.
So I have, what numbers are those?
Raise first in.
Yeah, that's 8
and attempt to steal late position.
Is that the 7 next to it?
Yeah.
I have 8 and 14.
Okay, great. So this is just a sample size issue because if these numbers are the same, it means that you're choosing not to raise more in position, and that should be something that you're doing. So like Uncle Tom's Cabin over 300 hands, his raise first in is 14, his attempt to steal is 15, and you should see a bigger difference between those two numbers. But I think in this case, Harold, is just a sample size. If Kim has you at 7 raise first in and 14.
I have him raise first in, like the pre-flop raise I have a 6. And then the raise first in is 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. So it's a pretty tight opening range from Harold here. We don't know what he has, but this board corresponds with it pretty well. And I expect to see a c-bet here after Keith checks. Yep, pretty big, a little more than half. We got that slider at 55, right? And Keith's got a couple backdoors here, but out of position, decides it's not worth it. Yep. I don't see any problem with that.
I'm on tilt now.
And you're okay with the ace-9. Seeing the ace-9 makes it that much worse, right, Kim?
Yeah.
Nice hand, Harold.
Yeah, with third pair and against that range and out of position, I just.
Yeah.
No.
I think that's right. Pick a better spot. Pick a better spot. So here we get Lefty, who is also a pretty tight player, opening over 4x. So that's alarm bells are going off right now for me. With a 16 big blind stack, well, that can't be right. It must still be one hand off, whatever. But it's a lot. They're opening a big here, so that's going to be a premium hand. Let's see if we have any notes on them. Nothing about open sizes, so we can assume that it's a strong opening hand, but that's all we can do. Yeah, we'll never know. Lefty, Mike, if you're watching, write in, tell us, why is your open size so large when you only have 16 big blinds? Inquiring minds want to know. Right, let's see here. 2x from Harold. We get a 3-bet from Captain Walleye. He's getting frisky. And a call. Let's just see how this plays out. So interesting flop texture. Harold is the effective stack here with 12,000 big blinds, which is about 1.5 SPR. Expect to see a lot of checks here. And Captain Walleye can probably get a lot of folds with a small bet. I wouldn't be surprised to see him bet like 2,500 or something like that here. Or maybe even to check behind with his entire range, because he can be ahead of a lot here as well. Yeah, 28. And gets the fold. Yep.
Yeah, I think that call on the flop was a mistake by me because we just talked about my stats and he raised me pre-flop that much. So, you know, he knows my stats too. So he's got to be really strong.
That's a great point, Harold. I love that. And we don't think about that enough. We don't think enough about how our image affects the range of our opponents. And I think that's exactly right. I think that's exactly right. He wouldn't be 3-betting you light there. Yeah, great call. Great decision. Okay, so we get a 2x, and because we can see all these cards, we know that we're getting to showdown. And we get the shove from Uncle Tom, and yeah, I think that's fine. Ouch. Oh man. Well, those were getting in anyway.
Ouch.
Those were getting in anyway. Not much to be done about that. Not much to be done about that. All right, Uncle Tom sticks around. We'll get another 2x. Lefty, yeah, people love calling from the small blind with king queen offsuit, but I don't know if it's a winning play.
The leak.
It's a leak. Yeah, okay. So here we go. We'll get a check. I'm c-betting here if I'm Rob. He checks behind. Maybe small blind. I don't know. Now we get a lead here from Lefty. I guess I actually kind of like that because I don't know if Rob's going to be delay c-betting on the queen. I don't know. What do you think, panel? If you're in Rob's spot here, is Lefty going to get more money from you betting or checking?
With the range, probably betting. With this exact hand, I mean, Rob would have bet here too.
Right. Yes. Good point. Yeah. All right. So then we get the raise, and I'm sure we get a call.
Yeah.
Something tells me they're going to split. Okay. Got a call from Harold in the small blind. I wonder what that is. Harold, do you remember that one?
No idea.
Yeah, it's a lot. When was this tournament played? Like 6 weeks ago. Yeah, it's a good board to c-bet, so I expect that to happen a lot. And it's just hard to continue here, so we'll get a fold. Yep, I think that's right. That's right. We get the shove from Fergie.
Ace-9 offsuit.
Nice. Yep, great shove from the small blind there. Okay, so now, what's that? 2 and a bit, 2.5, a little more than 2.5. So it's a larger opening size than you need there, I think, given the stack sizes with U14. Because it doesn't really matter how many monkey system has when you only have 14. So I think you could 2x there to 1400 instead of 1925 and save some chips, unless you're getting it anyway, in which case it doesn't matter. But if you're planning to get it in anyway, then this kind of presents as a stronger range, so you're a little less likely to get shoved on with worse aces, which is something you'd love to happen there, of course. But it don't matter because Fergie's going to shove with those pocket sevens. And
she saved me there.
Yeah, because you're looking at that with
I
14 big blinds. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. I like the shove. No, bad luck. Bad luck, Fergie. And Harold gets to turn that top pair into the nut flush. Nothing wrong with that. That's a fancier way to win that hand.
I refer to that as showing off.
This is completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. All right, here we go. Kim showing some discipline there. Yeah, limp limp fold from Harold there. So Harold, if Fergie it, do you recall if that limp there, is that something that if someone with a smaller stack shoves, you want to get in with? Or is it?
I could have shoved.
Yeah, you could have shoved.
I could have shoved. I had king high, king six offsuit.
Keto
I think I
man
could
could
have
have shoved
shoved.
there too. Yeah.
No, I'm saying for my specific hand, I have
Oh,
king
I
six
see.
off, and I think
Ah,
I could have shoved
I see. I see.
with 4 big blinds and a
Yep.
king high.
King high.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. Here it is. And Uncle Tom's calling with ace 5 there.
Mhm.
Oof. Oh.
Oh, look at all that equity.
Oh, yeah. I know. I know. Oh, well, good game, Kim.
Yeah.
Good game. Can't argue with that. I liked your shove with sevens. That was the TSN turning point. And we get
For my
Keto
ace
Man
queen
shove.
hand.
Yeah. It's always one that's gonna
Haunt you.
haunt you. You're gonna wake up in the middle of the night 10 years from now still thinking about it.
Well, I didn't think about it at all until Keith messaged me and asked me about it.
That's great. Okay, we get the open shove from Jack Jack. I think Harold, yeah, I wonder. So Harold, you called there. Did you consider about shoving over the top with the rest of your stack? Or was it just calls the right way to get these chips in?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It looks to me like I probably should have shoved there.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to lose to either of these guys that have you covered.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty good hand,
Yeah.
and probably want to be shoving there with some weaker hands to isolate. So,
I mean, are you folding if somebody shoves over the top of you
No,
in this hand?
no, I don't think so.
Right.
yeah, probably not with that. That'll be like 30 big blinds in the pot before they shove. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's all right. Sorry, Kian. Nice opening hand, but there can be only one. Okay. So here Keith is doing his 2x from the small blind. I expect we'll get a call from Uncle Tom's cabin. Personally, I don't know when the, I know he's only got 16 big blinds left, and we were talking about, Doug was asking me about why we're opening to 2x instead of 2.2x from the button. And it's from the button's a little different from the small blind. Sorry? Oh, is that in the background?
Oh, that was Dave.
Okay.
Telling me my dog's freaking out because it's lightning.
Oh, pooches.
This is a hand I would like to shove from the small blind.
Because Uncle Tom
with a chip stack of 42.
blinds.
Yeah, 42 big blinds, 16 big blinds. You don't want to play this hand out of position, really. It's not a very good hand, ace deuce offsuit. So just, you've got the blocker, the ace blocker, like it's just plays better, I think, as a shove from the small blind.
Has played 2x in the call. And a lot of action for Uncle Tom here. Will they bet their equity? They will not. Check, 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 check. Everybody wants to get that high card showdown. Ooh. So, Keith, is this a bluff or a value bet?
That's a bluff.
So
blocker.
Once the queen paired and I got the blocker.
Yeah.
Blocker bet, right?
Yep.
There you go. How about that?
Didn't mean to get value, but
perfect. Take it.
Yeah, for sure.
Take it. Uh-oh. It's about to get exciting. Oh, the sneaky little 2x. Gets the action. Oh boy.
Wow.
Yeah, no kidding, right? Interesting. So makes that same bet size, I think, as before, just 2 big blinds. You think lefty shoves here or no? Well,
I
just a
think you
call.
can.
Yeah, I was trying to decide if I like the shove better or not. And moment of truth. They do. And it does not come in. Ouch. All right.
So put yourself in that spot, and then Uncle Tom's Cabin has king queen instead, right? And that flop comes, and now if he bets, and if you shove your 9-10, you're going to get that hand to fold. And whereas you called off anyway. You called off anyway when the shove came on the turn. So let's get all of the fold equity we can get and shove the flop if we're going to call off.
I do think one thing that everyone at RecPoker should be doing is adding more fold equity post flop to some of these hands. And the only way to do that is with aggressive actions. So whether that's shoves or larger bets, it's something that I don't think we're using enough of. I don't think we're being thoughtful enough about turning some hands into bluffs, adding some fold equity, and winning more hands that way.
Not only that, but he's going to fold out a lot of the range that raised there, and like a lot of the smaller pairs, he's going to fold out. Someone may even fold an eight or nines or tens. Some people will fold.
Yep.
There. So just the person doesn't always have aces.
Yeah, that's right. And listen, sometimes they do, and it sucks, and you're going home that day, and you're like, oh, why did I try that bluff? But that, that is going to happen, and you can't.
I think that when the turn was shoved there, I think if he does the math, I don't think the math was there for the call.
Yeah. Yep.
But
let's go back and just take a look at that, because that's definitely correct. So here, the draw isn't as good as lefty thinks it is, and I'm with you. You can see right here.
It's double. No, it's still an open ender, right? Any queen or any seven, yeah.
Yeah. Yes,
so
he's got
8 outs, 9% or something like that. Not more than that, 8 or 9%. And that it's a pot-sized shove, so we're not getting the odds to hit our for our 8 outer.
Yep, I think so. And I think people just make this spot where they feel like they're pot committed, and like, I've made it this far in the tournament, and I don't know.
I understand. You want to see it all. So if you want to see it all,
check raise the flop or get it on the flop. Yeah, that's right. And I think the underrated point that Kim made earlier is that if you're going to call anyway, if you're going to get the chips in anyway in the hand, do it in a way that adds that fold equity, because otherwise the only way you can win is by having the best hand, and it's just hard. It's hard to have the best hand in poker, period. Wow, tight fold from lefty there. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know what they had. Mike, let us know. They're really respecting your range there, Harold.
I think I'm calling any 2 cards.
All right, so now we're down to 5-handed. So we're going to see under the gun isn't really under the gun anymore. This is essentially middle position. And so you're going to see wider opening ranges as we get down 5-handed.
It's actually a hijack. Under the gun is a hijack, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, and this is a tournament, and the blinds are going to escalate. We're down to 5 players, and those blinds are going to come around so often that you got to get it. You got to get in there and hope to get lucky.
Yep. Okay, actually, I like the bet here by. What do you guys think? When it goes, so there's this sort of weird implicit collusion that occurs every time someone a short stack could get knocked out at the tournament. So when we get here and lefty gets involved in the hand, Harold calls from the small blind, and now what happens almost all the time is Harold and Keith check this down, so that one of them can beat lefty and take lefty out of the tournament, right? Everyone just wants to turn their cards over, and Harold and Keith, what they would like to win the hand, but they really just want lefty to get out of the hand. So they're not going to lose. So they're not going to usually bet because it pushes someone out that might take this player out.
Right. In this format, however, I think that's an easy C bet with the gut shot and the over.
For Keith here.
For Keith, yeah.
Yep. But he doesn't want to,
Yeah.
in case Harold has like a 7.
Well, then he just slows down.
Yeah, that's right. So it does go check, and then I like this lead from Harold because it's very unlikely that lefty. What am I trying to say? If lefty has a flush, it really doesn't matter what Keith has, and if lefty doesn't have a flush, he's likely losing to Harold's king high or a pair of kings here. So I think this is actually a very thoughtful, smart bet that I really like.
I think I'm just playing the fear of the flush, and the bet's falling off that if he raises back, I can get away from it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like it. And monkey system shouldn't be getting out of line here either. With lefty still in the hand to lose. So so I really like the play. I really like it. And bad luck for lefty. But when you've got one big blind, what are you going to do? Good game, lefty. I'm sorry I didn't get that link to you earlier, Mike. I had hoped you could have joined us tonight. That's on me. It's our first time doing this new format, so mea culpa, Mike, if you're watching after.
That was actually a good spot for lefty to get in because one thing you're looking for when you're down below 5 big blinds is to get into a 3-way pot and hope you're lucky triple up.
Yep. Because you're not waiting for pocket aces either, right? So your chances are you're going to realize the equity of the hand, and you can do it with a lot of hands that don't mind seeing 5 cards.
You're in Fox's value zone there.
There you go. Yep, that's right. Book study paying off. Oh man, you're getting 6-1 with just one of the worst possible hands, eh? Very disciplined fold. That's where you always see the 6-3-3 flop, right, Keith? That's typical. That's what would come up there next.
Yeah, that would have happened if I had called.
That would be nice. So Harold, here we go in this one. Player 2X's you call in position. We get a very small C bet call. So I feel like you're suspicious here when you make this call here. You just don't believe, you don't feel like they have a 9, and you've probably, I don't know, you got like 2 overs or something like that when they make this bet. He has the same bet, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't like that call at all. My call there, I should just make up my mind because.
Yeah. It's that compromise call.
Yeah.
That is a killer. So, and it's kind of interesting bet pattern by Uncle Tom's Cabin here, because it's that same 2 big blinds every time. So that doesn't scream to me to be like a value range that chooses that small sizing every time, but it could be kind of tricky. Do you remember what you had?
No, but I remember regretting the call on the turn.
Yeah, even those, you just don't want to be bleeding it away. But he makes it hard with those super small bets. I don't know.
Yeah.
It'd be very hard to get away from that. Very hard to get away from that with most of the hands that you called with pre-flop. So nice little walk. And here we are 4-handed. So it will start flying through. I love the open here, monkey system. This is a C bet as far as I'm concerned. Yep, nice and small. Don't need to get out of line. All right. Now Harold's calling. So Harold's getting suspicious, I feel like.
Yeah, well, he's doing 2x opens like all the time, and that's like close to 100% of the time. So
nice.
It's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah, I love it. Yeah. That's right. That's exactly right. Oh, that's great. And you'll notice that about certain players too. And like certain players C bet more often, certain players C bet less often. And even if you're not using a HUD, you'll notice over time. And that's exactly it. The people that are doing it more often with the small sizing, you just got to come along anyway sometimes, even when it doesn't feel like it's a great spot for it. So that's great. I love that. Is that a check?
So what do you think is a good typical sizing when you're down four-handed like this? That's something that I'm a little bit up in the air on. I'm maybe 2.2.
Yeah. Again, it should be stack dependent, but I think you're right. You're opening a really wide range here, and so it should be relatively small. But the stack sizes are pretty deep. Like the short stack at the table has 28 big blinds. So I think a 2x is probably too small to be optimal. So I do like that idea. And I'm probably, I don't know, maybe I'm checking this back when Harold checks to me. Does anybody like a turn C bet here, the second barrel?
I missed the flop. Did he C bet the flop?
Yeah, very small.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then the jack comes. You're still repping. I think part of the problem is in Keith's position here, he knows that Harold is not continuing particularly wide past that C bet. So I see the check pine. Let's try and get that king to showdown, I think is what Keith's getting at here. And I think Harold has something here. I expect a fold. Yeah. That's right.
I remember thinking that. I remember, that's why he called me. He had a pair.
Yep.
I'm not sure I had anything there. I just saw the 2x so often, the small C bet, and it looked like you gave up. So I just took the opportunity.
Okay.
Yes. Way to go, Harold. Yeah. Cause then that's that spot, right, Keith, where you decide not to C bet the turn. It's that weakness there that you're showing weakness, whether it's true or not. And so Harold's taking that play where he can't, and you know, if you're 2xing a lot with a really wide range, and let's like, you know, you're opening a lot here, which is great. As we get shorthanded, it kind of dilutes the importance of that.
Those numbers reflect the way I ran that night.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it all night long. I kept getting hands.
Think about what you would make it on this turn if you had an ace. If you had ace king here, what sort of bet would you make on this turn? Right? So you can't just think about entirely your hand. Like a lot of people don't continue with their C bet through to the turn. They just give up. It's just a big blind call. Like he could have anything. He probably doesn't have a big ace. It's, it's worth another barrel, I think.
Yeah, this might have been the time to get in about a 2/3 turn bet.
Yeah, I like that. And then you never have to wonder again in the hand.
Right. And you're just gonna fold or check back or whatever if you get called again.
But as played, your antenna was up, and you thought that's it. This Harold guy, he's not getting involved with nothing. So I think I probably fold the river too in that circumstance.
Yeah.
All right, 2x. Yeah, the chip stacks have really equalized here. Okay, yep.
That's what's so nice about the structure of this tournament. You get some nice play at the final table.
Yep, that's
you get some good stack sizes and some nice play.
So here we get the 2x from Harold and a call from Rob, and Keith's looking at Jack in the small blind. This feels like a 3-bet to me, not only because we're trying not to call from the small blind, but just feels like a natural 3-bet. I should be squeezing more than I'm 3-betting anyway. Not that you want to be out of position in an inflated pot with a 1-pair hand, but it still feels to me like a good squeeze. Anybody else like the squeeze or?
I like the squeeze.
Yeah,
I like it.
Good.
And still pretty deep, so we could make this a pretty conventional sizing. That's I'd put this to like,
I'd still go about 5,000.
I was thinking
Probably.
maybe even like 6. Yeah, something like that.
Right between that, like at least, yeah, 5 to 6. It's good.
Nice. Yep. And I don't mind sizing up when
yeah,
you're out of position.
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love
Yeah.
it. Okay. I think this is good news when you get that call from that player, because they didn't have a hand that was good enough to raise Harold when Harold opened. So they've kind of capped their range there. So Captain Walleye could be getting tricky with queens, kings, or aces, but most of the time they're going to be 3-betting those hands. So that's good for you with pocket jacks. We like that a lot. And I mean, that sucks.
Yeah, that's a pretty
for his
rotten
hand.
flop there.
Yeah, but it's good
That's
for your
his hand,
range.
yeah, not for the range.
Turn me into a bluff catcher.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that stinks. Just a bad flop. I mean, you do have that. Yeah. So it's pretty small c-bet though, or it's a pretty small bet.
It's proportional for him to get it in, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he's gonna have nothing behind it. In fact, he could have just shoved there and chosen not to. Just a brutal flop. Like, oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, that stinks. That stinks.
No, I got straights blocked, double blocked.
Yeah,
but
double
still.
blocked. Okay.
But after calling the 3-bet and then ace, 2 overcards come, and I mean, yeah, this was. I just needed to get out of the way here.
I think that's right. Okay.
That's pocket jacks.
Pocket jacks is just no good way to play them.
You know what it is? That's out of position is what that is.
Yeah, good point.
Like when he checks to you, you can just check back on that flop and wait and bank a queen on the turn.
Right. Here we go. I like Harold's call here from the big blind. Just one more big blind to get in there with Jack Queen offsuit. Going to be in position like this. See how it goes.
I think this min raise from the small blind is too small.
Yeah.
I think people should be making it 3, 2.5 at least to 3.5.
Okay, let's see. I like it. Let's see another bet here, I hope. Yeah, small sizing.
Yeah.
I think your stacks are deep enough that you could up that size a bit on the turn there, still get calls from hands that you're beating, but pretty nitpicky. That's pretty nitpicky stuff. Yeah, and then I don't know if I'm probably not getting 3 streets of value, so that's probably a good check back. Anybody thinking about a bet there on the river? Feels like a lot of things have to go your way to get called by a value bet on the river there. So yeah, I like the check.
Yeah, because the bet risks a check call from an ace something.
Yeah, I like it. I think that was maybe just really well played hand. I like that. People will say, King 8's a garbage hand, but you're playing in the cutoff now, 4-handed. So I'd say I'm going to be opening most kings pre-flop just for the blocker value and paying for it post-flop.
Got no respect.
Yeah, right. There's that bet. We love that bet. There we go. Yeah. It's a scary flop. Monkey system shoving. And there's no short stack, so it's not like there's an ICM issue here. Like you don't want to go out next, but no one's like desperate to preserve their stack. So I mean, it's just kind of crazy. But at least it's consistent with your crazy strategy. So as long as it's consistent, that's all.
You know that if anyone has a jack, they're calling you.
Right. That's the problem. That's the problem. All right, let's see what else we got here. There we go. Oh, the big blind special. You love that walk with 4-2 offsuit. You're doing something right.
Now that I know he's caught doing that with King 8, he's getting
Yeah. That's right. That's the problem.
These guys are making notes right now on me.
Welcome to the limelight, Keith. That's the problem. Yeah, we're putting ourselves out there for RecPoker Nation. Then you can have start counter exploiting their exploits. Oh, the layers.
I only have one note, Keith. Don't worry.
All right, so Keith, we get the 2x here. I like Uncle Tom's Cabin's call. Mm-hmm. And you're always c-betting. You're always checking flop. It seems like out of position whether you're the c-better or not. So I get that. Let's see if we can let them catch up a little bit here. Yeah, what are you thinking, Kim? You like to just lead there?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, because you're gonna lead all your ace highs. You're gonna lead your king highs. So I like a lead there and get folds from hands like 9-10 who might hit something on the turn.
Yep. Oh, here we got. Let's get Rob back in here.
I just think, first of all, I think you only min raised it pre-flop, right?
Yeah.
Again, I think the raise has to be bigger. I think the big blind is always going to call. So, and there's no reason to slow play this hand. They're going to call a lot anyway. They're going to call with 2 hearts. They're probably going to call with Jack 10, Jack 9, King 10. They're going to call with Ace 8. Lots of hands. So when you can just lead out small to get value.
It's gonna be one of those weird situations where we're just so used to checking out of position like 100% of the time. And I even talk about it like that. I say things like, oh, well, he's checking 100% of the time here.
But he's the pre-flop raiser.
But it's different when you're the pre-flop raiser. Yes, exactly. And as you get shorthanded, you get into more of these situations where you have to take a line that's not really a general rule for full ring. So I like that. I think that's a very thoughtful analysis of how to look at those spots, because their range is also really wide, right? So there's an element of, a lot of the time they're gonna have nothing. Yeah.
If you had raised here with Ace 7 of diamonds, are you ever checking this flop? You're probably going to c-bet this flop and try and get any other hand to fold that might pick up equity on the turn, right?
All right, so let's see.
Yeah, I remember thinking, because I had such a powerful hand, I'm just going to try and extract a bet with this dry flop.
Yeah, I'm just going to take a look. It's funny, you guys. I use aggression frequency. Some people like aggression factor. I prefer frequency because it shows as a percentage. And I've got it color coded at 55%. That's why they're in white at 54, and you're at green in 57. So it's an interesting spot. They're not too aggressive. They're not, they're hard to exploit that. Some players you can say, oh, they're definitely going to put a bet in here on a board like this, but this player checks behind as well. Says, I got to get something. Keith says, I got to give me something. And I
don't understand that. Oh, I think he thinks he's chopping.
It's a chop on the board.
I get it.
Yep.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, nice.
Yeah. In fact, it's a pretty, good for Uncle Tom's Cabin for thinking about that, because that is a very choppable board. There's no doubt about that. And nice take from Monkey System. Okay, we got the 2x. Apple on my eyes says, give me top set. Bring it. Bring on that top set. And is Rob going to get frisky? Okay, so c-bet. He's got the backdoor straight only. Is that going to be enough to seal Rob's fate? Oh boy, it is. I like that he's gearing up and going for it. Do you guys like the ace that brings in the flush draw? Is that a turn that you're looking to barrel? Would you guys be bluffing there?
I'd like him to have some backdoor equity there. Like if he had the king of clubs in his hand, for instance. But
Yeah, I definitely don't like the bet against top set.
It's amazing how much easier this game is when you can see all the cards, isn't it?
Yep.
I don't mind it though. It's fine.
Yeah. And Rob's got the heart of a lion.
Yeah.
So
I don't mind it.
and I feel like it gets a lot of folds. A big bet here does get a lot of folds.
Yeah. He's a gut shot. Picked up a gut shot.
Yeah. And he had that backdoor back before it flushed. So he was feeling okay about that. Now, yeah. Yeah, when Harold continues to that big bet on the turn, I don't know that we're getting any folds at that point. So it feels like a good check back at first glance. Any thoughts on shoving there? I mean, I guess if he made the turn bet smaller, he could shove the river, but I think he actually gets more fold equity on the turn. I think I like it.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Sometimes they just have it.
Yep. Nice takedown, Harold. Now you're feeling good.
Yeah.
Now you're loving life. That top set, it's a game changer. And Harold takes the chip lead. Oh boy, Captain Walleye getting it in. All right, seems right.
Re-steal there.
Exactly, he's got the stack. He's just waiting for it too. If you know Rob, he's just waiting for the right spot. So there's that different sizing. So Keith, are you changing your sizing according to your hand strength? Naughty boy.
No, I would never do that. I was just thinking maybe. I don't know what I was thinking, but I just changed my mind about the min bet at that point.
Yep.
I was thinking it wasn't getting enough folds. It wasn't working.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that either. Like there's nothing wrong with looking down and saying, you know what, we're just going to change our assumptions about the game today against these players to my left or whatever. You just don't want it to be like, oh, I'm changing my assumptions because I've got this hand, which I know you know. I know you know. I just like to give you hard times. There we go. So as it is, I think I like the 2.2x from the small blind anyway. So I think that's the right way to be doing it. Oh,
and here we go again, right?
Here you go. And you're going to be bluffing at that a lot too. So I like that. I like that small lead there. And you could check and let them catch up. There's nothing wrong with that either. But I want to be bluffing at that board all the time. So it makes sense to also be betting your strong hands there. Okay, interesting. So yeah, Queen 4 suited.
The cutoff.
Yeah, and then what was the previous hand? So this one you're on the button, and it's not suited, and it's a jack, not a queen. And then here, you're one position further. It does make it. I mean, it does the difference between Queen 4 suited and Jack 4 offsuit is big. So yeah. Okay,
yeah, this was right at the bottom of the range anyway.
Yep. That's where we make our money, right? At the bottom of the range.
Yep.
Everyone makes money at the top of the range. 3x from Captain Walleye here. I wonder what his sizing. We can kind of pull up some notes on him here. And you can see I've got, well, here, we'll just do this. I'll just pull this up. You can see in Note Tracker different opening sizes. Here, let me just. So raise first in 2x is this hand strength. Raise first in 3x is this hand strength. It's a small sample size, but you could extrapolate from that a larger opening size from Rob is a better hand, which is why I encourage people not to do that. So I wouldn't be surprised if he has a premium hand here. We'll never know. Oh, wait, Rob, you came back. Rob, Are you still here? Oh, okay, he's here, but he might not be plugged in.
Yeah. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. I really want to talk. I got like maybe another couple minutes. I might be able to add something, but
Okay.
I'll be right back with you.
Thanks, buddy. You're the best. Take care. I love that Rob's making time for us on a work night. That's great.
He was in the plane. Did you see that?
I didn't.
Yeah, he's in the airplane.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What a beast.
In uniform too.
Rob has some, just taking a little, he's just landing right now, and then he'll come back and talk to us about this poker hand. What a life. What a life. Yeah, I like that open, Keith. Get a call from Harold.
Another nice flop.
Oh my God. Keith. Yeah, and I like these small C bets. When you get multi-way like this, everyone's got super wide ranges, and you're really trying to just get a lot of folds of their air on the flop, and you can take away their other stuff on the turn or the river. Nice to get another walk. Keith retakes the chip lead, and now Uncle Tom is really starting to get short. We're going to see a move from them pretty soon, I expect here. I like this 2x from Harold. Could get dangerous here. Nice C bet. Yep. Everything's going according to plan. Pretty small turn bet, but given your actual hand, I don't hate it. I wonder if that's maybe even a check behind. I could see different sizings with different parts of my range here if I'm in your spot. So
I don't remember what I did here.
Yeah, I like the call,
Okay.
Keith.
Oh. Because I got gut shot as well as top pair.
Yep.
So even though there's a good chance I'm out kicked.
Yeah, but even getting
can't
these
really
kinda,
fold.
No, getting such good odds with top pair, and yeah, even if the gut shot doesn't come in, there's a chance they're going to check behind on the river, and they do. There you go. Yes, Harold, I think you probably lost the minimum there, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I was advocating for a bigger turn raise or a bigger turn bet, but as played, I think you actually lost the minimum. So shut my mouth. And we got a limp here from Apple on my eye. And a min raise from Rob. That's interesting. So that feels value-y, given that it's coming off an 18 big blind chip stack. Yeah, that felt like maybe a low pocket pair, Harold, or something like that. Limp call, check, fold when it doesn't come in. Yep, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I wonder what Rob is min raising over limpers there. Whatever it is, that's a pretty good flop for it. So I think that makes sense. Here we get the 2x. Yeah. I don't know. Is this a call or is this a 3-bet with the intention to fold? Is it just a straight up fold? Is it a call? What do people think about this?
This is the kind of hand I think can go into a 3-bet bluff range.
Yeah.
Or a fold, because at these short stacks, it's just got so much in the way of inverse implied odds here that if you hit your jack or queen, you might not be good versus the razor, and
you're likely
you
going
get to play in position. Anyway. I definitely like the call if you're suited.
Have the same hand.
Stu's got it in the home game right now. That's so funny. Oh yeah, no kidding. He even got the suits. That's crazy. Nice.
See if we get the same flop.
Yeah, wouldn't that be something? All right, so plays as a call, fold. Now we're in position. Not a bad flop for us. When he checks, I'm kind of tempted to try and take it away here, but we'll just see. Check behind. Now, sometimes in this spot, I'm unsure whether I should be betting or checking, because I have a flush draw, but I also have top pair. I feel like I'm betting here a lot when Captain Walleye checks to me.
He's checked to you twice, so I think it looks like a hand like, you know, he's got some showdown value possibly.
Yeah.
So
Pocket eights or something.
Yeah,
or...
pocket eights. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, let's see. I think I like a bet here from Keith. Yep, super small. Having the queen of diamonds helps with their sizing there because you're not too worried about getting called by some random diamond. Get the fold. Yep. All right, nothing wrong with that. Yep, I like it better as an open. Okay, I think, are we calling here? He's super tight. One of the problems is this player only has a 4% 3-bet range. Now, when they have 11 big blinds, it's probably not that tiny. Well, they're still doing it with really premium hands.
Yeah, there's still too many aces and kings in that range.
Yeah, we're dominated a lot by those hands that I just saw in his range there. So 11 big blinds. And we're under the gun too. So we've presented a pretty strong range that they've elected to shove
We're
into.
in the cutoff.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah. Okay. Well, what do you think, team? Should we do a show of hands? Who's folding? Put your hands up if you're folding.
I think versus those stats, I think it's a fold, but against most players, it would be a call.
Yeah.
Mathematically, because even if they have a hand like ace 10, you're still got lots of equity there.
Yeah. Yep. Having
and they often they'll do it with 10s, 9s, 8s, 7s, 6s.
Yeah.
All the way down.
Oh.
So
yeah, so
played.
Squeeze. 1, 2, 3.
Hi again.
Oh, sorry guys.
No, that's okay, bud. That's awesome. I'm glad you're here, bud. All right. So there you go. And I haven't gotten the sense that Uncle Tom's Cabin is getting out of line pre-flop. So I think we can kind of assume that they're going to be proceeding through a 3-bet shove there with a pretty top-down range. All right, here we get the 2x. Harold does that call with these over cards that he likes to have in his cold call range. Discipline fold for a monkey system with a hand that's going to turn out to be a 1-pair hand out of position. So well done.
Yeah, like in multi-way.
Yeah, exactly. Just don't need it. Don't need that garbage right now. Interesting. I like that Harold's continuing with the call here. So Harold's decided that some of these players are they're c-betting too wide and they don't always have it. And the only way to combat that is by continuing in the hand against them. So I like that you're kind of drawing a line in the sand here and saying, no, I'm still really far ahead of this player's opening range. And that 7-7-5 board didn't hit them either. So let's see. Small bet like that. Another really small bet. And Harold, what are you thinking at this point in the hand where now there's this double paired board? You know, you've got ace high, which is probably enough to win in a lot of spots.
Well, he leads under the gun, so I'm thinking he has big cards. And
yep.
So I'm thinking maybe middle road pocket pair or something would be more likely to shove.
So I love that.
My kicker is decent. So.
I love that. I think that's really smart. Yeah, because a lot of those other unpaired hands you're either ahead of or you're chopping with here. I like that. And now, oh man.
Yeah. Full
heart on Uncle Tom's Cabin. Just pulling the trigger on the triple barrel. I love the courage. That's how they'd play it if they had a value hand here. And Eye of the Tiger, Harold Berry calling it down with ace high there. I love it. You just sized this player up from the get-go and just decided this was it. So
I thought a chop was highly likely with him.
Right. I think this is a really good play from Uncle Tom's Cabin if he has pot size or pot and a half. Like it's just too small to get a fold from an ace in this spot. But I really like the play.
Me
Like I
too.
really like the triple barrel. He just didn't quite have enough chips to carry it off. I think it puts Harold in a really tough spot if he bets a pot and a half on the river.
And you can see at this point in the hand, at the flop, he chooses this $2,000, this 2,000 chip sizing. And then on the turn, he basically has a pot size bet left here. So by choosing to split that bet up over 2 streets, it was impossible to really have that kind of fold equity of a pot sized jam and ever. So on the turn here, Uncle Tom's Cabin, I think, expected to bluff the river. They are not bluffing this because they're hoping a queen or a king is going to come. I don't think. And so if they're kind of like what Kim said earlier, if they're going to put their bottom chip in anyway, it's much better to either check this and shove the river, or to shove this than to do the small bet bluff, because you're just not going to get, the same kind of folds.
Right. What I really like is the idea of it.
Oh, yes.
The fact that he's trying to do it. It's just our sizing isn't, we need to have enough chips at the beginning of the hand to make this a feasible 3-street bluff.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
But I like the try.
Me too. And it's not even a bad run out for it either. Just didn't have enough chips, unfortunately. And you didn't have someone faint of heart sitting across the table either. There was Harold waiting there. Bring it, he says. I want it. I want those chips. And he gets them. Good game, Uncle Tom's Cabin. You put up a good fight there. You put us in knots a little bit. We're trying to figure out what was going on with some of these bet sizes and stuff. All right, we'll probably fly through a few of these now. We're going to see a lot of walks. So Captain Walleye is doing the 3x again here off that short chip stack. So I think they could probably get a lot of the same responses from it. Yeah,
I just want to talk about that bet sizing. So I was playing on my phone, and the app on the phone, I can either bet 2x or 3x. I had a really bad time doing it.
I see.
And so that's why you see the 2x and 3x. So,
there you go.
All right, hang on a second. I'll be back a second.
Yep, no worries. Yeah, that makes sense.
I'd like to see the 2x.
Yeah.
At this stack size, but
yeah. But yeah, that's one of the trade-offs working on the phone, right? Yeah, I couldn't do it because I'm such a HUD nerd. I'd be totally lost. Playing
I can't even see it on my phone.
Yeah. All right, let's see.
I have occasionally played on the iPad, and that seems to work, but it is different.
Yeah.
And multi-tabling, if you've got, that's really hard.
Oh yeah, I can only imagine. Oh my God, what a flop! What a flop, Keith. Oh, all right, not bad. A little 2x on the button. Now I like that you're choosing that same bet size that you've been using for all these C bets. So actually, that might be a little bigger, but it's right in there. So I like it. I like it.
I think I have 31% programmed into my.
Right, that's a good one.
Stars.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Just less than a third, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So
that was unwelcome there.
Yeah, it's too bad. Right? It's one of those. It's one of those flops where like most of the turns are unwelcome, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, definitely, that's not what you wanted to see. But it didn't stop you.
Nope.
That's okay.
If you got one club, I ain't letting you take that last card.
Yep.
What did I do? I don't remember. Did I lose right here?
No,
you folded.
They folded to you. They folded to your sizing. Oh, and this one here? This one.
When he flopped the straight.
When he flopped the straight. Oh, yeah, you called. Here we are.
Flush.
Yeah,
and you folded the turn.
Yeah, I don't think you have to worry, Keith, too much about the flush there, because I think he's probably, if he's got the flush draw on the flop, he's probably going to get it in then on the flop with that stack size.
Especially
Captain I didn't think about that at all.
Captain Walleye is getting it in for sure. He's not afraid to.
I'm not scared.
I ain't scared. That's right.
I bet 3. I just 3 extra fold.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. All right, so there it goes.
I got three buttons, fold, 3x, and all in.
It does simplify things a little, doesn't it? It's like when I was learning how to play golf, my dad only let me play. I only had a 7-iron for the first 2 years, so I had to just learn how to use a 7-iron in a bunch of different ways. It made me pretty good with a 7-iron. Yeah, like that. Let's just keep on scrolling through here. Oh boy, it's getting in. Yep. Isn't that a bastard when it comes like a 4 straight and someone goes home on one of those? Oh, God, heartbreaker. So we got a limp from Harold and a complete from the small blind check. So super wide ranges here. And then a bet from Harold in position. Probably take it down. Yep, nicely played, sir. All right, it's going to be a bunch of quick action here, I would expect. And Harold putting the bet out there just to claim the pot. And I think, here we go.
Yeah,
Monkey system saying I got queen high. Yeah.
When I reviewed this, I was thinking, I don't know, did I misclick or what? I would normally fold that.
I mean, it's interesting when you get this short-handed. Queen high is actually a pretty strong hand.
Yeah.
But yeah, you never know. You know, you're almost heads up, so it makes a big.
Yeah.
Conventional hand rankings go right out the window at this point. You just have to be able to proceed with a lot of like third pairs and dirty draws and stuff like that. Like the open, like the call. Oh my God. Yeah,
come on, call, come on.
Get it in there. So here, this is a good example. You're doing it with second pair, and it's really the redraw. I feel like is what's getting them in here. That's the value of the hand. I'm
pretty sure I folded pocket 8s there.
Yeah. And here, so here we got the 2x. Right back at you, he says. Here's the shove from Rob. Gets through. This will be, yep, 2x beauty. Okay. Yep. Nicely played. I think they're pretty unconventional. Oh boy, cooler time. Cooler time for Captain Walleye. Yep. Good game, sir. Good game. Put some fight in at the end there. I like that. And now it is heads up. And they're so deep. So Keith's got over 50 big blinds. Harold's got almost 40. I expect we'll see a lot of disciplined bets from Harold and a lot of shoves from Keith if the final table up until now has been any indication. That
no, not this deep.
Yeah, right. Good point. And now you're really in the part of the game where you're trying to get king high to showdown, right? Like this is the part of the game where showdown with these hands makes the difference, and getting other people off showdown makes a big difference here. Just like that. Right? Because your king high might actually be good there a lot, given the action here. When he checks the flop, I think that weakens Harold's range quite a bit there. But it's hard to play against. And it's hard to try and get a king to showdown 2 streets later. That's a bigger C bet. It's a bigger C bet than you've been doing. I guess because it's a very wet dynamic flop and you feel like you're going to be doing that with your entire range.
Pretty much.
I'd be tempted to maybe check behind with bottom pair there, but no, I think you're right. You're right. There's so many draws out there, and we just talked about how everyone's range was really wide. Yeah, good. Well, you got a street of value. Nice. Sorry, folks. I know this is a little boring. Heads up, I'm just going to keep kind of chugging through the hands here. So if I miss something, please just shout out. There you go. That's juicy. That's juicy, Keith. I like that. There you go. I think you got better to fold. You never know. They could have had 3-7. That's a good one. You got to throw those in there.
In this heads up, I mean, you should be playing practically everything, and the only reason you don't play when you're in position is because you're giving the other guy a break, basically, so that he doesn't change his range on you, and you don't know where he's at.
It's true.
So you got to once in a while take a hand off. Anything in the bottom 50% of hands, you'll take them off once in a while.
Yep. Nice call.
Yeah, I remember this hand. Yeah. I think if he had anything, he would have bet even bigger. So I was either a 7 or we both paired the 5.
Yep.
I didn't think there was a whole lot of meaning to the betting pattern. So.
I
know.
Yeah. Write that down, Keith. He's figuring you out. Harold's got.
He's had me figured out about 50 hands ago.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
I think my thinking process was I'm just trying to get a bluff through.
Yeah.
It
does feel like
yeah,
Keith, it feels like so far. One thing I've noticed is that when you get down to 3-handed or so, it seems like your sizing changes and you kind of like you think about the game a little differently. Like you're making more this hand right now decisions, like this hand, this street. It's like an exploitative line, which makes sense because you're playing against like fewer opponents. You're drilling down on how to take advantage of this particular opponent. And some of your post flop sizing, I can't tell if it's nervous or if it's just very, very strategically thoughtful. I'm sure it's an element of both. But you've got some different sizings post flop, which I think is because you're being more thoughtful about it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, just when you yourself don't know what you're doing, the other guy can't possibly.
That's it, right? It's the handicap.
That's my motto.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, actually, when I went over these, I looked at this one. What was I thinking? I needed to give up on this one sooner. I didn't have any. I had very little backup equity. Even with that, when that flush draw came in, I only had the 6 of hearts.
Right.
So this was probably a misplay.
It does feel like just because the sizing isn't going to accomplish what your goals for it, right? So I think either give it up or make bigger bluffs, fewer bluffs but bigger bluffs. But yeah, we're getting pretty nitpicky. But yeah, like I don't think there's any fold equity there, really.
Yeah.
Once they continue.
If I'd have gone pot sized, it might have worked.
Yep. All right, let's keep going. Pretty good flop. I was wondering if we're going to see a lead there. Yep, I think I like that lead. You're not going to get called by worse. I guess that's the problem. Well, you get called by some worse, some spades, some 10s and 8s. Although a lot of them will have a 7 or a 9 or a jack attached to them. Well.
Ace highs are probably going to call.
Yeah, good point. You got to start attacking that part of the range, those wider parts of the range. That's right. Thin value bets, because you can always fold to the raise, right? That's one of the nice things about these thin value bets. You can always just fold to the raise. Oh, I'm probably calling that. You're. I don't know. What a disciplined fold.
Yeah, it's being in the big or the big blind.
Yeah.
In these heads up situations, I don't want to play as many hands.
Yeah, you're going to be out of position the whole time.
Yeah.
I think that's a call. It's
yeah, I think
connected. Yeah. I mean, at your stacked up to a min raise, it's supposed to be a call.
Yeah. But it's one of those hands that if you're going to, most of the hands that are like right on the cusp, they are pretty marginal EV hands. So it's true that you're giving up an edge by folding them pre-flop, but it's a very small edge. And if you want to just fold a bunch of those hands that you don't want to take post-flop, it's not an optimal decision, but I think it's not a bad decision. You're generally better off making a good fold. Sorry, you're better off making a bad fold than a bad call. So it's not the end of the world to ditch some of those, but you are giving up some spots. Kim, I feel like you want to respond.
No, just have been studying heads up quite a bit, and you're actually supposed to be limping a fair amount of your range at these stacked sizes. And you're also only fold out for a min bet, you only fold out the very, very worst offsuit hands, like the twos, the 9-2, 8-2, 7-2, 7-3.
So even when you're in the big blind out of position on the post flop,
you have to call most stuff. Yeah. Or you can raise. Or you can even, you can raise or you can call most stuff. Yeah.
Yep. Just because the odds are so good and their range is also supposed to be really wide. So it's not like the equities actually run pretty close together for a lot of this kind of stuff. But
yeah.
And heads up, like I think, and Kim's saying specifically heads up, where you kind of have an obligation to play more hands than you want to, because otherwise you're giving up at least a half a big blind every time, if not a full big
and
blind.
your opponent, you've seen Harold min raising every single time he's on the button, so he's raising all kinds of crap.
Like I did here.
Right? Yeah, that's right. That's right. There you go. So I like that. Harold for a point there was getting to the point where I was like, oh no, Keith's just going to start value betting him all the time, and he'll just keep calling down now. But I think you guys are adjusting to each other pretty well. This is actually a pretty exciting match to watch in real time. Must have felt like it was going by pretty quickly in real time too.
Yeah.
I'd consider this as a 3-bet. Oh no, sorry, I was on the wrong side. Nice open. What about that one, Kim?
Sorry. Yeah.
You continue with that?
Yep. Every suited hand, every single suited hand. There's no folds. There's no fold of a suited hand to a min raise.
And is there a chip stack requirement for that? Do you get down to a certain length, where a certain size where that changes? Just generally.
Maybe.
Just generally.
I don't think so. Not for suited hands. I think you
just want to get them in. Yep.
Yeah. You don't necessarily have to get it in, but I think you're.
Yeah, sorry. Just get chips in. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have to see the hand. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe 7 deuce.
Right.
That would be the only one.
Ooh, yep. Yeah, so Keith, you're still very small sizings. Which again,
yeah, this one here I should have gone like about 45, maybe 5,000.
I mean, it sort of depends on what the rest of what you're doing with other hands and that kind of thing. But in this exact spot, I actually don't mind it. But it's interesting that you have that difference in sizing, like post flop for whatever reason when you get shorthanded like this. This is interesting. Okay, so open call, c-bet call, c-bet call, lead, river. So that's a very uncommon betting line. If you watched our seminar from last month, we talked about common and uncommon betting lines. So that's an uncommon betting line. In my experience, that's a value line here. So I would be, but it's just not that many hands that actually beat us here. What are they check calling with? If you call here and lose, something tells me the 7 of clubs will be involved. Any other thoughts? What's Harold leading with here?
I think I had the straight here.
Oh yeah, nice.
I mean, he could be calling all the way with the straight, but he's
Yep.
blocking the straight, or
They're
unless you
double
have
blocked. Yeah.
unless you have ace 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the sneaky little call, check call on the turn with the straight.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, we don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting line though. You can feel how it disrupts the natural flow of the hand. Those uncommon betting lines. It does feel like a value hand. Okay, we'll get a c-bet here. Bigger. So
I definitely feel like you have sizing tells, Keith.
yeah, I'm
You
feeling
say
like
you
that
don't,
too.
but I feel like you do.
Well, if you look at the, this is a fairly connected flop too.
Yes,
I
it's
try
true.
to size based on the flop. If it's connected, I'm going to go higher.
Yep.
That's how I usually do it.
Yep. And that's a good thing to be thinking about, because it should be the flop. The flop and your range should be what determines the sizing there. So I like that.
And our last flop was connected.
Yep. Yeah, and part of it might be also, Keith, I don't know if you're thinking about like this big bet makes me feel like you're like worried that your opponent has a 9 or a 10, and you just don't want to continue, because it's like you've been burned by that 9 or 10 before. That's the way it feels to me. That's the way it feels to me here. Oops, keep skipping ahead. Gets the fold. But yeah, that's one thing. And they've been like thoughtful and strategic deviations from your default. But yeah, that would be something to think about, Keith, as you review your own play. Post flop sizing, shorthanded. That might be something you can look into on your own, or get some help like that. See, there's that size. Yeah, and then you're gonna, again, a very disconnected board, right? So you can do a smaller c-bet there because there's just less to chase off. I like that. And Harold's cottoned on to this notion that you're c-betting a lot of unconnected boards. So he's going to continue. Works out pretty nicely for him. Good check there, Harold. Expect that to be a call. Now, will we see that same lead from Harold here, or will he try and get another street of value from Monkey Systems bet? Yeah, check. I think, yeah, I don't know. That feels like an interesting lead spot for Harold. Is anybody else thinking about leading out on the river there, or is it just better to check?
Yeah, I mean, I think if he leads on the river, he might be able to get a call from hands exactly like that have a 5 in it. Pocket 6s, pocket 4s, pocket 8s.
Yep.
And it's an easy fold if he gets, raised.
Yep.
Go for some small value. What sizing do you think there, Jim? Like maybe can we go up to half pot, or not that high?
I would say I was thinking like 6, 5,500, 6, something like that. Smaller than that, you might get called from some ace highs too, which would be nice. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure I'd be comfortable enough with like the dynamic here to aim for that. I don't know. I think a small bet though.
Mhm.
Nice. Okay, hold on a second here. Yes. So we have the limp and then the raise over limp. So I think that makes a lot of sense. And Harold didn't come here to limp and fold. He's got the button after all. So let's see what happens. Pretty good board for Keith to c-bet here because it's disconnected. But Keith might also be a little wary about some of those c-bets because Harold seems to be sticking around. And will happen here as well. So Harold's definitely, he's correlating Keith's c-betting on these boards that are good to c-bet, right? That's how the layers, the levels kind of work, right? So Keith's out here taking these stereotypical c-betting spots, which he should, and Harold's adjusting by recognizing those boards that are good to c-bet and understanding that Keith's going to be c-betting with a higher frequency there. Yep, I like that.
I'd like to see a bigger bet here.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's been true for a lot of these turns, I think, Keith, while we're adding some notes. I like the small flop bets, but I think you got to leverage more fold equity on these turns because you want to do it with bluffs and value. And I just don't think you're putting him to a tough enough decision on some of these turns, small sizes. And then you're in the spot where you're like, okay, do I pull the trigger or not? Which is uncomfortable. Ooh, I like that. So when you check, I'm starting to, when we started this hand review, this final table review, I thought I had Harold all figured out as this tight player. And now I'm not, now I don't know if he has it or not in these spots.
He's a heads up specialist.
I might be. Yeah, Harold Berry, shorthanded expert.
The VPIPs come up to 23 from what was
it? Right.
I went from 168 hands to 257, and it's so I'm my VPIP is running probably the same rate as Keith's right now.
Right.
It's not that much.
Yeah, and I think it's one of the things that's interesting about it is that because you're in the earlier stages of the tournament, you play very tightly pre-flop, and so you're only getting post-flop rarely and with like a very kind of predictable premium set of hands. And now that you're in these shorthanded situations and heads up, I think you're probably playing more post-flop, like you're playing a wider range of hands post-flop, and that's kind of inspiring some of these plays, which I'm loving. I'm loving this. I have no idea if you have a strong hand here or not. That's great. That's exactly what you want. That's awesome. All right, so now the chip lead is swung to Harold, and there's still a lot of play left, but we are starting to get a little nervous as Keith here, our theoretical hero, as he is at the bottom of the screen, and we see all his hole cards. And just getting hit with the wrong side of the deck here, unfortunately. Yep.
It's the third time I got sixes, I think, in this heads up, isn't it?
Yeah. And not a single six on a flop yet.
Yeah.
Hey, I got a quick question for Kim. Since you've been studying it so much, do you still like the 2x open? Heads up.
When you get short,
we talked about it
at this stack depth. Well, at 26 is fine. At a bigger stack depth, I prefer 2.2 heads up. Just a little bit bigger, 2.2 to 2.3. If you're going to raise, but I like a lot more limping than people are doing.
Yeah, limping's a really unexplored branch.
I mean, it's just, you can just exploit from the big blind. You can exploit if your opponent is raising every button. You can just start 3-betting or jamming, and they have to fold most of the time.
Yep.
So it's just too exploitable to never limp your button and heads up, especially when you get shorter.
Yeah, if you're playing against opponents, they're going to take advantage of that, of course. Yeah, and I think part of the problem is, Rob, in our tables, one of the mistakes that a lot of players make is overfolding pre-flop, and so the way that we exploit those players is by raising more, so that they can have an opportunity to make that mistake. I think as you go up in the levels, more players are defending their big blind wider, three betting more aggressively, as Kim says. So to counter exploit them, the limping strategy makes a lot of sense. So here we go again with Harold is doing the check call line, and then we got a check, and then Harold leads the river again, pot. So he's really making life uncomfortable for Keith here, and I mean, yeah, you make a good fold there. I check call, check. So I don't know. Do we think maybe Harold actually had a queen there, or is this another spot where Keith doesn't usually check the turn? So when he does, Harold is deciding to make a stab.
You can do it with a jack too. You can do this with a jack.
Yeah,
easily.
I like that. But that's true. And the bet sizing is interesting.
The turn went check.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I suspect this is either a jack or a queen most of the time.
Yeah, I like it, but I like these betting lines, Harold. You're putting Keith to some tough decisions here. And this is right on the cusp of the silver pin, so the stakes could not be higher. Yep. Oof, you wanted that one. And Keith's saying, see, I can bet into weakness too. You're going to check behind? How do you like it? Yeah, nice. I like the bet with second pair there.
So when we're 25 big blinds, we're supposed to be limping 65% of the time. And the only hand we fold is 3 deuce offsuit. And we limp 65% of the time and we raise 35% of the time. So
in the big blind,
as on the button with 25 big blinds. Yeah. It's just this, so your chips are getting to be so precious, and you so this happens and you're getting 3-bet, right? So, and then you also throw in some limps of, you always limp some hands maybe that have some equity where you can call off, like king queen suited and maybe some suited aces and things like that.
Just makes you harder to play against.
And at this point, Harold wasn't folding to any of my raises anymore, so I needed to change gears.
I saw that 2x so much.
Yeah. And Harold, did you feel like not leaving out the individual hands of it, but like, did you feel the dynamic shifting? Did you like decide you were just going to play differently? What was your feeling like at this point?
I decided to turn up the aggression. And right now, when he's down to this stack, I'm thinking he's getting very close to shove or fold mode. So I'm just kind of hoping to take him a little bit smaller and to force that.
Yep. And Keith's been showing that he's not afraid to make those overbet shoves either. So that's where so Keith, that's where your balance is really important against players like Harold that are going to be paying attention. Because strong ranges unpredictably is the way to do it. Like that open there. I'm probably c-betting here in a vacuum, but Harold's been calling all my c-bets, so maybe I'm only going to c-bet with real value from now on, but this is a pretty valuable hand, heads up. Yep. Nice. All right, there you go. Good. Yeah, it's...
Yeah, that's
Hey,
one I
Jim.
wish I had back.
Yeah.
When will this be up on the site? I'm so bummed that I missed most of it.
I think
I'm
this
just
one comes out, when does it come out? Not next week, but the next week.
Okay.
On Friday, I think.
Next week we're doing another one, right?
Yeah, next week.
Wednesday.
Yeah, next Wednesday we're doing the one from what was it, February 8th.
February Tournament
Yeah,
of Champions.
the previous month. So if anyone's enjoying this, they can come in and check that one out. Rob, I'll let you know. I'll let you know when it comes out.
That was a call.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think that's a call too for the same reason. Even down to 28 big blinds, I think it's still you still have a chance to get into a good spot post flop. But getting down, starting to worry about conserving chips. Yeah, I love that you're still 2xing there, given the dynamic. I think that's right. Yeah, same kind of thing. It's just not a very good hand, but interesting. That's a bigger
Yeah, we
flop
both
size.
paired.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So that's like a, what was your flop size? 3 grand. So it's a smaller bet proportional to the pot.
I have a feeling here, if you had an ace, you would be jamming it.
Yeah, I think you'd be betting bigger with an ace too. I think you'd be betting bigger with an ace. So maybe it's the spot where if you don't feel comfortable making a bigger bet, you should just check and save the chips for when you do want to make a bigger bet. So hard. I don't know. It's so hard to play heads up.
Hey Harold, do you make the call on that hand with the 10 with the 8 if he does shove?
Yeah, good question. It's a big over bet.
Yeah, but he's done that before. He's already set up that precedent.
Right.
We do. Probably do.
Yeah, tough decision though. I like the way you think, Rob. And then, yeah. And now Keith's thinking, does this guy just always have a pair? Does he always have a pair? How can this be happening? Right. So now Keith's down to 20 big blinds. So he's starting to conserve, making more folds pre-flop. Yep. Good for you though. You're not afraid. That's a perfectly good hand in this situation. You're going to get it. You're going to stack off with one pair anyway in a lot of circumstances. Getting open from Harold. This probably plays better as a call. Anybody interested in getting frisky here, or is a call just the right?
Yeah, I think it's a call. Yeah.
It's okay. Oh no.
Yep,
Oh no. Oh boy.
This was the death blow here, I think.
Yeah, I don't think this is gonna go well for Keith. Okay, discipline check. We're gonna see that c-bet a lot. I think I probably like the call from Keith here, but I wouldn't be surprised if this was one of those overbet shove spots. Oh, interesting.
I figure if I call, we're just getting it in. So
yep.
I don't love my kicker.
Right.
So I've had it for a while.
There it is. And yeah, I think it's getting in at that point. Yep. There it is. Well, good game, Keith, and well played, Harold, and congratulations on the silver pin.
Thank you.
You're in rare company indeed.
Well,
Congratulations, Harold. Nicely played.
Nicely played. Yeah. Good.
Yeah,
No
both of you.
Astros.
Played well.
Good for both of you. Yeah.
That's right. It was a fun battle at the end too. I could tell you guys were really getting into it with each other and like adapting to each other's play. So that was great. That was great to see. And Keith, thanks for sharing your hands tonight. It's so much more interesting when we can go through from the point of view of a player and see the different hands that they get. And it just means that we all start picking you apart a little more, but it's great. You're such a good sport about it, and it's just a great way for everybody to learn.
Don't worry, I have a lot of criticism from myself next week.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to think about playing heads up though, because heads ups are a different, entirely different kettle of fish. And you can see that if you're still raising every button when you have 20 big blinds or 25 big blinds, your opponent can just shove and you just have to fold all the time.
Yeah.
Except when you really have it, you know,
no fun.
And it just means you just got to bring some limping into the game more when you get lower.
Tim, did you take Fox's tournament course on Core 2.0? Or looked at it?
Yeah, a while ago. Yeah.
I think I need to take it again. I probably didn't pick up all the lessons.
I don't think he did much on heads up. Unfortunately, we don't get into that spot often enough to really practice it. The only reason I was studying it was because I didn't want to sound like an idiot on commentary.
Mission accomplished. I thought that was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed that too.
Yeah.
Good way to practice it is if you go on PokerStars and the play money and don't buy into the 10K, but buy into the 50K heads ups. That's good.
Oh, yeah.
That's better practice.
Yep.
Yeah, if you go into the 10K, the guy will shove on you and then call you a name in the chat, you know.
I think we should just challenge each other to heads ups.
Yeah. Yeah.
Could just
I like that idea.
Yeah.
Is there a way to do that?
Just start. Yeah, we have to do a play money cash game, right?
Okay.
And then you sit down and you both sit at the same. To do a play money, I guess you could do a play money heads up as long as you made sure you both registered at the same.
Yeah, to be in the right one. Yeah, exactly.
To be in the right one, right?
We did look at some of the logistics for that. Yeah, John.
What we found out is that if you actually make it a heads up tournament, it will not run with just 2 players.
Right.
So when we were doing our heads up for Marek Madness, it had to be a 6-person tournament. And obviously only 2 people would sign up for it, but then it would actually run and go. So
I see. Interesting.
Okay.
So we can, if we want to start having those, or people want to do them in our home game group, we can certainly do those. I can make more people capable of creating tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't want to screw up any of the
other
ones for the things, and I'm not going to record stats for any more tournaments that are just run off.
It would just be for practice kind of thing.
Right. But we could certainly set that up and allow particularly premium members, if we wanted to be able to create those tournaments, and then you could play little ones at any point in time.
What I would like
the only thing is if they're part of the tournament, there's nothing that will prevent anyone in the group, in the community, from signing on to those tournaments.
Yeah, so it's kind of hard to get the right people in it. Yeah.
Right. If you want it to really be heads up, you just have to do it. Although even if you started with 3 or 4 people, getting shorthanded play would be a lot of good practice too.
I agree.
Right. It'd be good to do it and then have everybody's hands history, and then play everybody's hand history and have a study session after. Not necessarily the same day, but the next day.
Could set up some home games just for people who want to play against each other and practice against each other. That way we can have the tournaments like that too, so we can have the escalating blinds.
Yeah.
And we can do it with 2, 3, or 4 players, and then just talk to each other in the forums and in messaging, and coordinate, and then just join the game when we want. Or, well, the home games would have to start at a certain time, wouldn't they, John?
If you're doing a tournament, you have to set them up for a certain time, and there's like a minimum of you have to make it at least 5 or 10 minutes in the future. So you'd set it up, you'd create it, and like the first time you'd be able to select would be somewhere between 5 to 10 minutes from now.
We wouldn't tell anybody about it, and they
right.
Hopefully they don't look at their email that says a new
Yeah,
tournament has been
opened.
scheduled.
Yeah.
Right.
Is there a way to set up a separate club for 2 people in their own home game?
Well, you can set
Anyone
up as many
can set up
clubs
a
as you
club.
want. Yeah,
Yeah.
anyone can
Yeah.
set up a club. The only issue is you can only be a member of like 3 or 4 clubs.
Oh.
So like I'm almost maxed out at the number of clubs I can join between Annie Up and RecPoker and our RecPoker Championship Club and then Steve's recording club there. I don't know if I can even join any more clubs. So
that must be something specific to you down there, because I think I'm a member of at least 20.
Well, I know you can only be an admin of 3. So
maybe that's what it is.
I think that's
maybe
what
that's
it is.
because I'm an admin. Actually, I think I'm an admin of more than 3. Because I own 2 clubs, and that's I think the most you can, or maybe you can own 3. I don't know. Anyway, I ran into problems. There are some limits on the clubs that we just need to be aware of.
But what we could do, we could just make a new group that was just for the RecPoker
Heads
members.
Up Study Group.
Heads Up Study Group. No, seriously, we could have a Heads Up Study Group that was its own PokerStars club, and they would just need to be. Then the people in the group could join that club, and it would be a limited invitation, so you wouldn't have to worry about a bunch of random people joining the tournaments. We could make those people's admins of that club, and then they could start tournaments without being able to mess up all the stuff that John has set up in the actual RecPoker club. So that's something we could think about. Maybe that's how we would do like the next Marek Madness would be its own club and its own group or something like that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll keep noodling on that. We'll keep noodling on that.
I like the idea of being able to have some playtime and then look at it. The best way to learn are these hand history reviews.
Yeah.
Like it's just so good. Like to see spots where you have leaks or, you know, I already see all kinds of my own. So it's like, it's awesome.
Yeah,
so
it's the best way.
To be able to play and then study and see all the hands, it would be just ideal as well.
Well, I think we might be able to hook something like that up.
I used to love.
Like I don't have anything else on my plate right now.
Yeah, that's right, Kim.
There was like a 6-month period where my primary game was Heads Up Sit and Goes. And that's just, I was just obsessed with it. Now, again, this was probably back in like 2007 or something like that. But I was playing almost nothing but Heads Up Sit and Goes for 6 months straight.
Cool.
I don't want to play against you.
Well, no, obviously from Marek Madness, we have shown whatever I did manage to learn, I have promptly forgotten.
Well, I'm only playing you in one game, in one match tournaments then. I don't want to get the best 2 out of 3 with John Somsky. All right. Well, thanks everyone. I get so much out of these. I really enjoy these sessions. And Keith, thanks again for sharing your hands with us. Big difference.
And thanks all of you for the honest commentary. Nobody's going to learn more from this whole thing than me.
That's right. That's right.
So it's been a privilege.
That's sweet, man. I really appreciate that. And I think
I hope we weren't too hard on you, Keith, or me specifically.
The harder, the better, because that's how you learn.
That's how you learn. That's the best way. That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I hope
you didn't
more
call
people...
me any names. So.
Yeah, I was pretty sure I had the mic turned off anyway. So yeah, I think we're okay there. All right. Well, Harold, thanks also for joining us tonight. It's great to get you in the room. I appreciated your insight. And Rob,
same time next week.
Thanks for landing that plane, buddy. There you go.
Yeah, sorry I couldn't take part. I really wanted to. I was in and out like 22 times.
Yeah.
I even tried to log in from 32,000 feet, but the internet on the airplane wasn't capable of keeping up.
Don't those things have autopilot? You could just, program it in.
All right, now let me be clear. During the tournament, I was not flying. I was off. That's why I was sitting out, because the internet disconnected as we were descending. And today I was not flying the aircraft either. I was sitting in the back. So I just want to make that very clear.
Since we're recording
has
this.
the wrong idea.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
exactly.
For the FAA.
Yeah.
Or
that's
in TAA in Canada, whatever.
There you go. Oh, that's great.
But it was fun. I really enjoyed the commentary for what I got to hear. So good job, guys.
Thanks. Yeah.
And congratulations, Harold.
Yeah, way
you.
to go, Harold. That get that pin in the mail one day soon, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, the competition is tough enough to even get in the tournament. So.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, everyone. We'll see you again next week, if not before.
Okay.
All right.
Good night.
Thanks,
Good
Jim.
night.